It is the second round of the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Football Playoffs. It's a football Friday night. This is high school football Alabama's. After the game, Jon Holder along with Coach Michael Short, Chad Barnett, we are with you for the next couple of hours detailing not only all the games in East Alabama, but also every game in the state of Alabama. We'll fill out the brackets. We've got coaches' interviews, features, special guests coming, a whole lot coming up on a full 2-hour show here on After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. We've got a number of teams. As a matter of fact, a dozen teams in East Alabama playing high school football tonight in the second round of the AHSAA State Playoffs. So let's go right now to our USA Softball of Alabama scoreboard and get you up to date on all of the final scores across East Alabama. We will have highlights of this game from the Field of Champions in Piedmont, a valiant effort by the Piedmont Bulldogs, but it was not enough as Lauderdale County beat Piedmont by a score of 35-30. Lauderdale County came in undefeated. They lead the Field of Champions undefeated. Piedmont coming in at 5-6. A lot of injuries this year and some adversity for the Bulldogs, but take your hat off to the folks up at Piedmont, Coach Jonathan Miller and his team, as Lauderdale County wins over Piedmont tonight 35-30. Piedmont had a 30-29 lead, and Lauderdale County scored late in the game, very late in the game, less than a minute to go in the game to win it, 35-30 to remain undefeated. Lauderdale County 35, Piedmont 30. Highlights of that game coming from the Field of Champions. Another heartbreaking loss for a team from Calhoun County. Number 7 Oxford in Class 6A. They lose tonight on the road at A.H. Parker in Birmingham at Major Brown Memorial Stadium over there by Legion Field. We will have highlights of this game as well. This was 14-14, and Parker scores late to beat Oxford and end the Oxford season at 9-3. Parker 21, and it was Oxford 14, the final from Birmingham tonight, and we will have highlights of that game coming from over in the Magic City. Also tonight, a team from Calhoun County with a big win late. Number 8 Jacksonville beating number 7 Bibb County. That game was in Centerville tonight at Choctaw Stadium. And Jacksonville, for the second year in a row, they won by a touchdown last year in Centerville at the end of the game, and they win by a touchdown this year at the end of the game as Jacksonville beats Bibb County 28-21 to advance to the quarterfinal round of the playoffs. Montgomery Catholic coming to Golden Eagle Stadium next Friday night. Also tonight, it was St. James, the number 6 team in the state in Class 3A, at home in Montgomery tonight. They beat the Randolph County Tigers, ending Randolph County's season at 10-2. St. James wins the game 41-6 tonight. A bit of an upset tonight taking place down south as well. Booker T. Washington of Tuskegee. That's the home of Lionel Richie, and they're probably dancing on the ceiling tonight. Booker T. Washington beating number 6 Handley 22-9. Tough loss for Handley as they end the season at 10-2. Booker T. Washington came into the playoffs with a 6-4 record. They're now 8-4 and going to the quarterfinals to take on the Jackson Aggies next week. Also tonight, this is a correct final. 81 points, not a basketball game. Number 6 Wadley tonight at home at Curtis Lynch Memorial Stadium in Wadley. They hammer South Lamar tonight 81. That's right, 81 points by Wadley tonight as they beat the South Lamar Stallions 81-27 tonight at Wadley. Wadley moves on to the quarterfinal round of the Class 1A playoffs. They will go to Reform next week to take on the team that was in the Super 7 last year out of the North Pickens County, a team that beat Wadley last year 34-15 in the first round. Now the rematch. Again, this game will be in Reform next Friday night in the 1A quarterfinals. Another team, we'll have highlights of this game coming. My crew, as a matter of fact, was at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga tonight. Number 1 versus number 4. Number 1 B.B. Comer beating number 4 Highland Home tonight. Great football game, great atmosphere. 21-14 as B.B. Comer moves on to the quarterfinal round of the playoffs. We will have the head coach of the B.B. Comer Tigers, Adam Fawcett, live right here tonight on After the Game from Sylacauga. It was Pickens County, the road to the North Championship, to the Super 7 in Class 1A every year. Inevitably, it goes through Reform, Alabama and G.S. Spruill Stadium. Tonight, Pickens County wins again. Make no difference. They started the playoffs 7-3, but they've won 2 tough games. They beat Winterboro tonight in Reform 32-23 as Pickens County goes to 9-3, and they've got that matchup with Wadley coming up next week over at Reform. Also tonight, this is a new final that just came in. Moody tonight, the number 6 team in 5A. The Blue Devils double up Russellville tonight as Moody beats Russellville 42-21 tonight at Bill Morris Stadium in Moody. Moody will be at home again next Friday night on Black Friday as they will host the defending Class 5A state champion, the Ramsey Rams, coming to Moody next Friday night in the 5A quarterfinals. Number 4 in Class 4A, Cherokee County. The Warriors rolling tonight 28-0 at halftime, and they put it on cruise control in the second half, 49-14 as they win over the Haleyville Lions. As Cherokee County will move on now to the quarterfinal rounds. They are 11-1. The quarterfinal round of the playoffs next week. They will travel over to Trinity in the Decatur area in Morgan County to take on the undefeated West Morgan Rebels. It should be a great matchup, a rematch of a game that Cherokee County won 42-28 in the playoffs last year, also over at West Morgan in the second round. Coosa Christian, number 9 team in the state in 1A. They rolled tonight in Gadsden at Philip Ellen Field against the Lynn Bears. Second year in a row they have knocked Lynn out of the playoffs. They beat Lynn tonight 28-6 the final. We will not only have highlights of that game, but also Coosa Christian head coach Mark O'Brien will join us live right here on After the Game a little bit later on tonight. And what a huge win for Gadsden City. Gadsden City had lost to Hartsel in the regular season at Hartsel at J.P. Kane Stadium, 31-28. Tonight, Gadsden City returns the favorite. They were down 15-14. They score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter as Gadsden City beats number 6 Hartsel, knocks out the Tigers 22-15. Gadsden City will play Parker next week. That will be in Birmingham. Congratulations to the Titans. And we will have highlights of that game as well coming up on After the Game tonight from Titan Stadium in Gadsden. Let's talk about Team 1 Automotive. Big things going on at Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden because they have coming up not only a lot of great specials, 2.1% financing on Equinox, Blazers, Trailblazers, and Traverses, but 0% financing on new Silverados. Now, Team 1 Chevrolet, 413 East Meagan Boulevard in East Gadsden. Don't forget they have a full body shop. They're approved by all the major insurance companies. No hassle, no getting multiple estimates. They've got you covered. And don't forget, next week is Iron Bowl week, and they have Auburn and Alabama tailgate packages that they are going to give away next week during Iron Bowl week. Tonight was the opening of the Oxford Festival of Lights at Choccolocco Park, and Oxford Festival of Lights bringing you our Game of the Year. We're going to announce the winner of that coming up next Friday night right here on Black Friday on After the Game. We're going to show you the 5 nominees again this week throughout the show, and we begin with nominee number 1, game number 1 early in the season back in September. It was Westbrook Christian visiting the Creek Bank at Ohatchee against the Indians. Ohatchee built a big lead. Westbrook came back, went for 2 to win the game. Ohatchee denied them at the end of the game and hung on to win that game 34-33 over Westbrook Christian, a thriller to begin the season over on the Creek Bank at Ohatchee. That is our Oxford Festival of Lights Game of the Year nominee number 1, Ohatchee and Westbrook Christian. Coming up next on After the Game, our Farmers and Merchants Bank Spirit Scholarship winners. We're going to introduce you to them in the house. They'll get their big checks tonight. That's next.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement, with physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at PeeWeeTurnerMotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
All right, let's talk about the Regional Medical Center. If you're looking for primary care, we've got the right care right here in Anniston, Oxford, Jacksonville, and Roanoke. Learn more at rmccares.org/family medicine. We're coming to you tonight from the RMC Media Center right here at Parker Memorial Baptist Church on Quintard Avenue in Anniston on this football Friday night. And back on the set here, and as promised, we have been giving you nominees all season long for our Farmers and Merchants Bank Spirit Scholarship Contest. We started off with 76 student athletes from 19 high schools. Every high school in Calhoun and Cherokee counties. We had nominees coming from the schools. We narrowed it down to 38, and then we narrowed it down, had the big drawing last week for our $1,500 scholarship winners. And we have Chris Latta here with us from F&M Bank. Chris, you're the president of F&M, and you've been a great supporter of high schools in this area for a long time, has Farmers and Merchants Bank. You've given away over $24,000 in scholarships. Just tell us about this Spirit Scholarship Contest.
Well, you know, this started a long time ago, and we just came up with the idea to support the student athletes in our local communities, and we'll be able to expand it this past year and include other schools, and it's just great to be able to give back to the communities and students in the community. So we enjoy being part of it.
We're giving $1,500 to these two student athletes that we're going to introduce to you formally in just a moment, but also the other 36 finalists are getting gift cards. Is that correct?
That's correct. Everybody gets a $50 gift card if they won the first competition. So we give out, just trying to support the students and be a good part of the community.
And the goal of this is, and you do the thing during the Calhoun County basketball tournament, got the big shooting contest that goes on, the half-court shot and the three-point shooting contest. The goal on this, as you just mentioned, is supporting local high schools and supporting local student athletes. And that has been something that Farmers and Merchants Bank has been doing really since the very beginning, is involvement in the local schools and communities.
It is. Well, that's just part of one of our core values is the communities we serve, the communities we're in. We make sure that we support those communities through supporting the schools, supporting the people, supporting the businesses. You know, it's just one of our core missions.
And one thing I found out this year that I did not know, tell folks about the Spirit debit cards, because you can get those in your school if you're a Alexandria student or a supporter or a White Plains student supporter, any of the schools in Calhoun or Cherokee counties. Not only can you get that card, but you give money back through that program, correct?
We do. Once you purchase the card, we actually give part of the proceeds back to the local schools of the cards that are purchased. So again, it's still just about supporting the communities and letting people who are fans of the local schools be able to show that support every time they use their debit card. And we all know everybody's using their debit card more these days than ever. So it's a chance to show that every time you use it.
Absolutely. Well, let's, without further ado, meet our scholarship winners. One female, one male student athlete. Jill Cockrell from Alexandria High School, a perfect 4.0 GPA. Is that right, Jill?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to UAH, and we know Alexandria has great women's athletics and a great softball program. You're going to play softball for UAH, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. This will be helping out with your college expenses up in Huntsville, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations on being our female student athlete winner of the $1,500 scholarship from the folks at Farmers and Merchants Bank. Jill Cockrell from Alexandria High School. And fresh off the basketball court tonight, we have Dylan Barksdale of White Plains High School. Let me tell you, Dylan is, I'm going to make sure I got all these, football, basketball, baseball, and track. A 4-sport athlete who has a 3.64 GPA as well. Dylan, you guys had a home basketball game with Weaver tonight, right?
That's all we do.
And y'all won, right?
That's all we do.
Awesome. Tell us about your college plans.
I kind of want to go play football, but I don't really know where I want to go yet. So.
Regardless of where you go, $1,500 will help a lot, won't it?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to Dylan Barksdale of White Plains High School. You're a little quarterback out there this year, right?
Yes,
Did some
I'm a
quarterbacking?
receiver.
Tough football player. Two of many outstanding student athletes that we have here in East Alabama. Jill Cockrell, our female student athlete from Alexandria High School, winning the Spirit Scholarship of $1,500. And Dylan Barksdale of White Plains High School, our male winner of the Farmers and Merchants Bank Spirit Scholarship. Thank all of y'all, Chris, all the folks at Farmers and Merchants Bank, Dylan, Jill, for being with us tonight here on After the Game.
Thank you.
As we go to break, time for our first Red Threads Extra Point of the night. East Alabama will be represented in the 2024 class of the AHSAA Hall of Fame by legendary former Wellborn and Talladega basketball coach Chucky Miller. Miller's overall record was 785 and 346 with a state championship in Class 4A in 2019 and a runner-up finish in 2020. 6 of his teams reached the AHSAA state championship Final Four. He spent 41 years in the AHSAA as an educator and 40 years as a coach. His induction will put him in special company once again with his father, the late Chuck Miller. The elder Miller was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1992. The announcement of this year's class was made today. We come back, more of After the Game presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch.
The perfect stop. These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Aniston Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Aniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy. I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay, we ought to do this more often.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Aniston. Visit our website for details.
Ted's Floors and Beyond, bringing you our high school football Alabama Ted's Floors and Beyond. We got chicken finger coming. We'll tell you about that in just a second. Our Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week. And by the way, coming up next Friday night, right here on the show, we're going to have the folks from Ted's in, and we're going to award our Team of the Year. We're going to talk about the finalists for that coming up next Friday. In the meantime, let's tell you about Ted's Floors and Beyond. They now offer cabinets from Welburn Cabinet. And so now you're home for a complete kitchen or bathroom makeover. They have a large selection of products, including hundreds of in-stock items, hardwood, laminate, tile, carpet, luxury vinyl, cabinets and countertops, 0% interest financing for 12 months, all day, every day, plus those famous in-home estimates. And you can follow them on social media or go to their revamped website, which is shopteds.com. Back on high school football, Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Jon Holder with you on this football Friday night. Time now to go back to our USA Softball of Alabama scoreboard. All the final scores involving teams from here in East Alabama. We begin with number 5, Lauderdale County out of Rogersville, playing at the Field of Champions in Piedmont tonight. We'll have highlights of this game. Lauderdale County scores late to end Piedmont season. Back and forth game all night long, and the Tigers win it 35-30 tonight. Also a heartbreaking loss for the Oxford Yellow Jackets. They were on the road at Major Brown Memorial Stadium in Birmingham tonight, where they fell late in the game. It was tied at 14. A.H. Parker scores in the fourth quarter late to win it 21-14 to end the Oxford season at 9-3. We will have highlights of that game from Birmingham. Number 8, Jacksonville. They pull out a close win tonight as they score late in the game. I think about 48 seconds to go in the game as they break Bibb County's heart for the second year in a row. Last year they scored with 7 seconds to go in the game to win by a touchdown. Tonight they score with 48 seconds to go in the game to win by a touchdown. Number 8 Jacksonville beating number 7 Bibb County 28-21 tonight down in Centerville. St. James ends Randolph County season in Montgomery tonight. The number 6 Trojans beating the Randolph County Tigers 41-6. A surprise, a shocker even. Number 6 Hanley falls tonight in Tuskegee to Booker T. Washington. The Eagles win 22-9, the final in that game. Wadley tonight, number 6 in Class 1A, rolling over South Lamar. They beat the Stallions tonight down at Curtis Lynch Memorial Stadium in Wadley, 81-27. We'll have highlights of this game, and the head coach of the B.B. Comer Tigers, Coach Adam Fawcett, will join us right here live on After the Game. Number 1 B.B. Comer beating number 4 Highland Home tonight at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga, 21-14. It was not good news for the other Talladega County team involved in the playoffs tonight. In Class 1A, Winterboro falls at Pickens County tonight as the Tornadoes win in reform 32-23. Moody tonight, number 6 team in the state in Class 5A, at home at Bill Maher Stadium in Moody. No problem as they beat the Golden Tigers of Russellville tonight, 42-21. Cherokee County, we will have highlights of this game. Cherokee County, number 4 in Class 4A, at home in Center tonight at Bobby Joe Johnson Field. They were winners over at Haleyville, 49-14. Coosa Christian, number 9 team in the state in 1A, beating the number 5 team in 1A, Lynn, tonight over at Philip Ellen Field in Gadsden, 28-21. We will have highlights of this game and the head coach. 28-6, I should say. Coosa Christian 28, Lynn 6. I misspoke there. Coosa Christian 28, Lynn 6. And that was the final, and that we will have highlights of that game, plus the head coach of the Coosa Christian Conquerors, Coach Mark O'Brien, will join us live right here on After the Game. And another team that won a close game tonight and got a little revenge at the same time, Gadsden City. We'll have highlights of this game from Titan Stadium. They beat Hartsel. They were down 15-14 late in the game. Hartsel wins the game, or I should say Gadsden City wins the game over Hartsel, 22-15. Hartsel won the first time in Hartsel in the regular season, about mid-season, 31-28. The Gadsden City gets revenge tonight to move on to the quarterfinals of the 6A playoffs as the Titans beat the Tigers tonight, 22-15. All right, I promised you some chicken fingers. Here it is, folks. Look at that right there. The best chicken fingers you're going to find anywhere around. Ron's Barbecue has these. Ron's Barbecue, located on Alabama Highway 144 in Alexandria, and they have all kinds of favorites out there. They've got they brought some wings tonight. They brought us some chicken fingers tonight. They have the family packs as well, where you can get pulled pork, smoked chicken. You can get the buns. You can get they've got things like smash burgers and ribs, and not only these huge chicken tenders, but they've got buffalo chicken tenders as well. I tanked up on some of those chicken fingers tonight myself. You just saw how delicious those are. Check out Ron's Barbecue, feeding our crew here and our guests tonight on these Football Friday nights. I cannot tell you how good those chicken fingers are. Alabama, Auburn, Jacksonville State, all playing at home tomorrow. If you're going to the games, watching them on television, make sure to go by Ron's Barbecue and get all you need for your tailgate packages coming up. Well, as we mentioned, tonight's the opening night of the Oxford Festival of Lights at Chocowacca Park in Oxford. And Oxford Festival of Lights is bringing you our Game of the Year, something new that we're doing this year. We're going to select one game as our Game of the Year. We've narrowed it to 5 finalists. You just saw the Ohatchee and Westbrook game from earlier in the year. Now we take you to mid-season. Barney Hood Stadium at Southside. Great non-region game between Southside and Boaz. Boaz was up 42-28 in the fourth quarter, and Southside comes back and scores 2 touchdowns to force overtime. Boaz scores a field goal in the overtime, and then Southside scores a touchdown in overtime to win 48-45 in overtime. A classic at Barney Hood Stadium in Southside. Our Oxford Festival of Lights nominee for Game of the Year, game number 2, Southside and Boaz. We'll be back with more of high school football Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission in just a moment.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch. The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anderson Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Addison Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I can instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Can I home make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy. I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Noble Bank and Trust bringing you our Noble Bank and Trust post-game presser on football Friday nights. And that's our interviews with all of the numerous guests and coaches that we have throughout the football Friday nights here in East Alabama. Noble Bank and Trust, a proud sponsor of high school football Alabama throughout the beginnings of this show, going back all the way to 2020. What is Noble Bank? Well, Noble Bank is community owned. What's that mean? It means you're a person, a face, a name when you walk into one of their branches. You are more than an account number. All the decisions are made locally, and they give back to their communities as well. These decisions are not made anywhere like Charlotte or Atlanta or Birmingham. They're made right here in East Alabama. They're your one-stop shop for checking, savings, loans, mortgage, line of credit, services for both personal and business. They are both high-tech and high-touch. They offer all the same technology that the big banks offer, but they also offer hometown customer service. The accounts and services that they have are all tailored to fit your needs. Switching banks is easy. They will actually hold your hand from the beginning to the end. Noble Bank and Trust bringing you our Noble Bank and Trust post-game presser on these football Friday nights here on After the Game. Jon Holder back with you on high school football Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. And right now, we are going to be joined, I believe, by the head football coach of the Coosa Christian Conquerors, Coach Mark O'Brien, standing by from Gadsden. All right, Coach, I think we've got you coming by here today. This is Jon Holder. Coach, how are you this evening?
I'm good. I can't hear. I couldn't hear you there. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
All right, Coach, having a little trouble hearing you there. Coach, let's talk about the game tonight. Your team in a rematch with Lynn. The rematches seem to be a theme at Coosa Christian. You had the rematch with Spring Garden last week. You won that one. You had a rematch with Lynn. You beat them last year in the playoffs, and you beat them again tonight, 28-6. Tell us about the game over at Phillip Ellen Stadium tonight.
Yeah, it was a really, really physical game, and thankfully we came out on top. Too many penalties, though. We're killing ourselves. If we don't clean this up, we won't be here much longer.
Coach, let's talk about looking ahead now to next week, and let's talk about you're in the playoffs once again, deep in the playoffs, just like last year when you went into the semifinals. You're in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs next week. You're going to be back at home against Hackleburg. I know you haven't had a whole lot of time to maybe think about the Hackleburg Panthers, but tell us what you know about Hackleburg.
Absolutely not. Put all of our energy in the league game, and to be honest, so I found out.
Coach, they beat a team that you're very familiar with in Valley Head tonight, but let's talk a little bit about just your football team this year. You got an outstanding quarterback. John David Justice has been a fantastic quarterback for you this year. Had a big game last week against Spring Garden. He's a guy that has been one of the many leaders on your team. Talk about some of the outstanding talent you have there at Coosa Christian.
Yeah, we're blessed. John David had a productive game all year for us. A lot of players. So, John, we play a lot of kids. I think we play about 65 minutes Friday night. That helped. That did help.
Coach, how hungry is this football team? Last year, it's been well documented. You go to the state semifinals, you're playing for the North Alabama Championship, a chance to go to the Super 7. You go to Pickens County and lose in the most heartbreaking of ways possible on a Hail Mary, 44-40. Pickens County scores as time runs out. What has that been the kind of the drive of your football team in the offseason and this season to try to get back to that place that you were last year?
Well, I think it began that way for sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I think it began the season. They were very focused. They worked really hard during the off season, and then all the adversity we hit, it cranked it up times 10. I've never in all my years of coaching seen kids more focused and angry. And I've told people this for the last 5 weeks. Our kids are very, very angry. So I think that is a contributing factor as well.
Coach, let's talk about just the team this year and the components and the pieces of this team. Everyone, I think, knew in the offseason. Last year, you kind of came out of nowhere, but now people around the state knew you had a lot of returnees coming back off a team that was literally a play away from being in the Super 7. So that returning experience that you have, beginning with Justice at quarterback and throughout your whole roster, you had a lot of, you and I talked at media days, the Etowah County media days, and you had a very, very experienced roster coming back. A lot of guys that had a lot of playing experience and a lot of big game playing experience.
Absolutely. Last year we were a sophomore team. This year we're a junior team. And what's happened is the 10th grade class has been really good. And the senior class, very thankful for the senior class for sure. But this thing is really, this thing was built off these juniors. And the future is definitely very bright for us, and we're really, really happy with the way our kids performed tonight for sure.
Coach, the building blocks of this program, I mean, this is, you go back to last year and this year, as far as the on-the-field wins and so forth, this is really unprecedented in Coosa Christian history. Great success as an 8-man, great success back in the day in the early 90s and the late 80s, winning, even national championships at the Christian school level. But as far as success in the Alabama High School Athletic Association, these are the glory days of Coosa Christian football. Tell us about the process of going back, not even before last year, but going back at the very beginning of your tenure there at Coosa Christian. Tell us about the building blocks of building not just a team, but building the program.
I mean, I've said it before. This is the, outside of, going through SEAL training, this was the most difficult task I've ever took on. It's just because the shape the program was in. When I took it, in July, 39 months ago, whatever it is, we were down to about 10 kids, 7 through 12. And I didn't know if the program could survive, to be honest with you. I just told, I told the AD, I said, we'll just do our best and, see where it goes. We'll work them hard and, try to do things other programs aren't doing, by the nutrition and things of that nature. And I don't know, the Lord blessed it, man. It's not me. It's truly the Lord's blessed this whole program is what it is. That's what it is.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about just overall this team this year. And you told me you were a prophet. You and I were breaking bread together at the Etowah County Media Day. And I guess we can unveil this now because you told me privately, you said, John, I think this team can be 3 or 4 touchdowns better than last year. And that got my attention because I'm like, this is basically a Super 7 type team. And you told me that you felt like they were going to be even significantly better than last year. And Coach, you've been right on the money with that assessment that you had back in July. This team has been even significantly better so far than they were last year.
yeah, and I think it was right. I think we were 3 touchdowns by the numbers that I pull, and I crunch data. I'm a data follower there, and I believe we're 22.8 points better per game than we were last year. And I believe we're going to be 2 to 3 touchdowns better next year than we were this year. So yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious with you. And so yeah, the future's bright. I mean, but we ain't worried about next year. We're worried about right now. And so yeah, we've had a good season, but it's just we're 2 rounds into the playoffs. It's not a big deal right now. We just got to keep doing what we're doing, and worry about us.
Coach, let's talk about the future now as you move through the playoffs. You're in the quarterfinals. There are only 8 teams left in the state, only 4 teams left in the north. What are you looking for your football team to take that next step, to move back to the semifinals, to win the semifinals, to get to Bryant-Denny Stadium, and possibly win a state championship? From your perspective, what's got to happen over these next 3 weeks for that to happen?
We've got to eliminate penalties. That's the biggest thing. That is killing us. If we did not, we had 155 yards of penalties tonight, and I'm telling you, like, that's normal for us, and it's just ridiculous. And, if I had $1 for every time I've told these kids, we've got to eliminate this stuff, I could probably go ahead and retire. And, here's the thing. If we don't eliminate this, we'll be dribbling a basketball real soon. And so it's up to these guys to figure it out.
Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. I know it's busy with all that goes on, what's demanded of the teams. Once you get into the playoffs, there's so many things that have to be done. I know it's a busy night. Congratulations to your team tonight on that big win over Lynn for the 2nd year in a row. Best wishes to you and your team as you move to the quarterfinals next week, back at home at Phillip Ellen Stadium against Hackleburg.
Yeah, thank you, John, and I do appreciate everything you've done for high school football as well. And you've always been ever so kind to me, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Coach, I appreciate the kind words. Best wishes to your team.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mark O'Brien, head football coach of the Coosa Christian Conquers. Winners tonight over the Lynn Bears, 28-6. We'll continue with more of high school football Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission in just a moment.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
After 15 years of supplying top-quality, name-brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
the Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
This area's largest light show is the Festival of Lights, proudly presented by the City of Oxford and First Bank of Alabama, and it began tonight. Enjoy the drive-through holiday light show at Choccolocca Park in Oxford, featuring over 1 million lights. And you must check out Santa's Village. That opened tonight as well. There is space to play. There's outdoor skating. There's food trucks. And, of course, a chance to visit with Santa himself. It opens nightly at 5 p.m. And it opened tonight and will be open every night all the way through Christmas Eve, December the 24th. Get your tickets and find out more information at oxfordlights.com. Back on high school football, Alabama's after the game on this Football Friday night. Jon Holder, Coach Michael Short, Chad Barnett. Folks, it has been total, if you hadn't noticed a little bit, it's been a little chaos tonight. We've had all kinds of things going on, including what y'all ran into some traffic, right? Tell us what happened tonight coming back from Piedmont.
Broke some traffic loss probably on the way back. I think it's what we got.
Yeah, there was an accident.
It was coaches.
Okay.
Yeah,
we had to
pray
go
for them
through
for
some
sure.
back roads, and we come out where I thought we would. I wasn't for sure, but we came out.
He nailed it. He did. So
you would have no idea the travel. You know, before we come on the air at 10 o'clock on Friday nights, we had folks tonight. You were in Center, Piedmont. You were in Piedmont. We had folks in Gadsden. We had folks.
Birmingham.
My crew was in Sylacauga tonight. We had a crew in Birmingham tonight. We're all over the place and trying to get there, get highlights, get back, do all this kind of stuff. So it's sort of wild on Friday nights. So, Chad, one of those far-flung places we went tonight was Bobby Joe Johnson Field in Center. Cherokee County Warriors, the Haleyville Lions. We've documented all along that Cherokee County is by far the favorite in 4A North, and they proved it again tonight, just rolling literally right along in the 4A playoffs.
If you're wondering who Haleyville is, who's the opponent, because we know a lot about Cherokee County at this point. You know, in their postseason history, they made the postseason 21 times. Only twice they've advanced past the second round and never past the third. I say that to say this. They have a monumental task ahead of them, both program-wise and also who they're playing. They have to take down the vaunted Cherokee County Warriors to break into the second round match again. Let's go up to the Bobby Joe Johnson Stadium and see how this highlights played out. As you see the Warriors coming out, as we mentioned, the prohibitive favorite this season in the North, because they have been running roughshod over all of their opponents, and the defense is what set the tone tonight. Big play after big play after big play in the first half. This is going to be a fumble by the quarterback and the keeper. That's the first drive of the night for Haleyville. They flip the field, get the ball at the 25, and you give Cherokee County a short field to work with. Carson Tittle is going to take this for a first down, keep it himself, and then one play later, they're going to go to number 9. Watch the truck right there coming down the main lane. 9 is in for 6. They will lead it 7-0 at this point. More defense for the Warriors. Back to pass, and we have a sack. DeSante Diamond with a big sack. Phenomenal play. Gets them to punt. This is going to be a 9-yard punt from their own 25-yard line again, giving Cherokee County a short field to work with because defense and a couple of mistakes by Haleyville. This is going to be a walk-in for Cornejo. He's going to tap off that drive about 35 yards, 14-0, all Cherokee County here at home. But Haleyville would get a drive going here late in the second quarter. They finally get their first down of the game, but then they turn it over. Pass going to be picked off by Jace Turner. He's going to return it back again on the plus side of the 50. So again, the offense with short field to work with. And you just keep handing that ball off to number 9, who has a magical night tonight. We'll talk about some major stat he got this evening. But this is going to be down inside the 15. Looks like they're going to go up 21-0, and they're just going to walk away with it. It's 4th and goal, same drive, now in the second quarter. Tittle, he's going to keep it. And this is where, I won't say disaster, but a very tough play for Cherokee County. As he is tackled from behind, he does not get up. He stays down for a little bit. It's not a head injury or anything like that. It just seemed to be a lower extremity. They have to help him off. He would not come back into the ball game. Starting quarterback for Cherokee County. That's a major story. Hopefully that young man can get back up and get back on the field, because I know he's been phenomenal for the Warriors this season. But the defense would come back on the field. You got to keep playing right. They play through and pick them up again. Another fumble. This one recovered by Turner again. Short field to work with for the Warriors. Anybody want to guess what they're going to do?
I'd give it to Cornelio.
That's exactly what they did, Coach. That's why you won so many games, because you're smart. And that's what they did. That run right there made him the school's all-time leading rusher. Some big all-time leading rusher. That beats, I mean, think about the names. Herschel Houston, Martin Houston. I mean, a lot of big names. That score to put them up 21-0. They would go on to roll tonight at home in the second round of the playoffs. They advance now to the quarterfinals. Big win tonight, 49-14.
Well, the one thing, some positive news here. We don't know Tittle's situation, but even if we hope this is not the case, even if he misses some time, they've got another pretty good quarterback. This was a quarterback battle during the summer with Carson Chestnut, who transferred in there from Sandrock, so they've got a quality backup. And we've seen Coach, I've seen Cherokee County a couple of times this year, they can go Wildcat with that big number 9, Corneo.
A lot of Mark Ingram look there for him in the second round.
So they've got some options there. Hopefully Tittle will be back next week as they go to West Morgan.
You know, everybody always talks about Cherokee County's offense, but I'm always so impressed with their defense, because their defense gives their offense so many short fields, causes a ton of turnovers. And their kicking game, they never get beat with their kicking game, and they play great defense. They'll always give you a chance. So if there is some type of injury, that defense is going to be even leaned on even more to give the offense short fields. So I love the way they play defense.
Yes. Coach, you mentioned defense. They're going to need that defense because next week they go on the road for the first round of the playoffs to Trinity to take on West Morgan. West Morgan's undefeated. West Morgan is the #1 scoring offense in the state, period, classes 1A through 7A. They're averaging 55 points a game. Last year in the second round, Cherokee County and West Morgan played. Center won the game 42-28. But even last year, against that Cherokee County defense, West Morgan scored 28 points. That game was at Center. This time they'll be traveling over to West Morgan. It's a huge game. A lot of people think that the 4A North, this might decide it next Friday night.
Very well could, and I can see Cherokee County right now going ahead, especially if they have an injury to their quarterback, that they're going to really rely on that running game to keep the ball away from West Morgan. You know, the number of snaps you keep away from them, the better off they're going to be. So look for them, those 8 to 12 play drives that takes up 6 to 7 minutes, and West Morgan may only get it about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. These two teams combined 23-1 coming into this game next week. And by the way, we're getting to the point now where we're just giving you useless information. So you want some useless information about Haleyville? Well, I'll tell you this. The first 911 call that was ever made in the world was made in Haleyville, Alabama. Guthrie's Chicken Fingers started in Haleyville, Alabama, and former U.S. President Jimmy Carter's brother, Billy Carter, moved from Plains, Georgia, and resided in Haleyville, Alabama.
Okay, you better have family that lives over there if you have this.
No, I do not. It's
how in the world?
Weird stuff that pops in my head. But Haleyville is done now, courtesy of the Cherokee County Warriors tonight. 49-14. Center wins the game as they move on to take on the West Morgan Rebels next Friday night over in Trinity in Western Morgan County on the other side of Decatur. It is now time for brackets. We go with Class 1A, and we're going to give you all the brackets tonight, every score in the state of Alabama, and we're also going to give you all the matchups for next week as we go to our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden brackets. We begin in Class 1A tonight, and we'll begin in the South. #1 Leroy tonight. They were on the road, and actually they were at home against Georgiana. Leroy beat Georgiana tonight 27-13. They will get Brantley, some blue bloods in South Alabama small school football. Brantley squeezed by Lochapoka tonight. That game was at Brantley 14-12. So next week it is going to be #1 Leroy, and they are going to be taking on Brantley. That game is going to be at Brantley. Leroy comes in at 11-0. Brantley comes in at 8-4. The other matchup in the South next week had a little bit of an upset tonight. You talk about blue bloods of Class 1A football. They don't get any bluer than Maplesville and Sweetwater. Maplesville tonight went on the road to Nolan Atkins Stadium in Sweetwater, and and they beat the Bulldogs tonight 28-21. Sweetwater came in ranked number 3 in the state in 1A. Maplesville unranked. They were 7-4 coming into this game. So now 8-4 Maplesville will be back at home in Chilton County next week, taking on number 2 Elba. Elba is now 12-0 as the Tigers tonight beat Milry. Milry was a semifinal team last year. Milry came into the game ranked number 7 in the state, and Elba blast them tonight 47-28. The game really wasn't even that close. So next week it will be Elba traveling up to Maplesville to take on the Red Devils. Now we go to Class 1A in the North. Coosa Christian. You just saw the head coach of the Coosa Christian Conquerors, Coach Marco Bryant, with us. They beat Lynn for the second time in 2 years in the playoffs tonight in Gadsden, 28-6. Coosa Christian officially they're 7-5. But on the field, they're 11-1, ranked number 9 in the final ASWA poll. They will be at home again, taking on Hackleburg. The Panthers tonight beating Valley Head 33-18. So next week, number 10 Hackleburg, they will be traveling to come play at Coosa Christian. Hackleburg is now 11-1 on the season. And the final game in Class 1A next week, this ought to be a dandy. Pickens County tonight at home in Reform. They beat Winterboro 32-23, and Wadley tonight all over South Lamar 81-27. So next week it will be Wadley 11-1, number 6 in the state, taking on defending Class 1A runner-up. They were the North champions last year. Pickens County in Reform. Pickens County is now 9-3. As I've said a couple of times tonight, the road to 1A North runs through Reform, Alabama, G.S. Sproul Stadium in Reform next Friday night. Wadley and Pickens County ought to be a great Class 1A quarterfinal game, and that's your Class 1A bracket presented by Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden. When we come back, we're going to speak with the head football coach of the B.B. Comer Tigers, number 1 in the state of Alabama. Adam Fawcett is next on After the Game.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team 1 Chevrolet. Team 1 Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team 1 Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy.
I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
Pee Wee Turner Motors is the area's longest established used car dealer. All began back in 1969 on South Quintard Avenue in Anniston. 54 years later, thousands of satisfied customers. They are still going strong, selling quality late model vehicles. Great staff that will help you purchase that perfect vehicle you've been looking for. Their rental division can help you rent a car, a Penske moving truck, or a Cruise America RV for that fun getaway. Visit them tomorrow at 512 South Quintard Avenue in Anniston, or you can go to their website at peeweeturnermotors.net. Back on high school football, Alabama's after the game. Jon Holder with you on this Football Friday night, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Earlier tonight, my crew was at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga for the great 2A second-round game between the B.B. Comer Tigers, #1 ranked team in the state in 2A, hosting the Highland Home Flying Squadron. They came in ranked #4. Right now, we're going to take you via phone line back down to Sylacauga. B.B. Comer High School head football coach Adam Fawcett joins us this evening from Sylacauga. Coach Fawcett, good evening. Welcome into After the Game.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys having me.
Coach, great ball game tonight. We lived up to all the expectations. Let me just say, first and foremost, the atmosphere tonight at Legion Stadium as good as you're going to find in high school football, I think, in this state at any level. Kudos to you and the school and everyone involved with the great atmosphere that you guys had tonight at Legion Stadium.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. We had it was a great atmosphere for sure, and our fan base is man, they make it happen for us. So between our cheerleaders and our band and our fan base, goodness gracious, they do a great job. We're all about every Friday I make a post on social media, tell them to bring the noise, and they've done that for us. They've been with us, and I tell you, we've as this program has built over the past couple of years, our fan base has built, and man, just exciting times, and tonight it was a big help for us. Obviously, the crowd noise. Just the crowd staying in it, but big help for us and a really tough second-round matchup.
Coach, I was impressed with every facet of the program. Obviously, your football team, your coaching staff, you mentioned your fan support, the band, everything was just first class tonight. Really impressive going back to the crowd again. That is in essence, you share the stadium with Sylacauga, 5A school, so that is in essence a 5A stadium, and you filled that place up. If this had been your average 2A stadium in the state, this is a standing room only. And the electricity, when we came down Highway 21, the time that we kind of pulled in by Jack's there and got into the traffic, you could kind of, Coach, just kind of feel the energy and the excitement all over Sylacauga tonight. Just a really great atmosphere for high school football.
Yes, sir. It's the atmosphere is great. It's fun to kind of soak it in and see. We have a balloon and ribbon crew that people in the community get together. They hang balloons on the light poles and street signs and leading up to the stadium, and we've got ribbons, these big nice black and gold ribbons hanging everywhere, and you go downtown, the storefronts, a lot of them have ribbons, and just a ton of support for our program, and it's been a blessing for our program. It's been a blessing for our coaching staff and our kids to have the support that we have. So they do a really good job of supporting us in any way that we need. The pride is probably one of the best things about where we are with this program. I love my wife hates it because I never meet a stranger, but I love going to different places, whether it be the grocery store or the gas station, and have random people come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm class of '89, and man, I'm so proud to be a Comer Tiger. I'm proud of what you're doing and just how things are going." So it makes me feel good about what we're doing and what we're doing with these kids and helping to develop them and make them better young men.
Coach, let's talk about the football teams tonight. Another thing that was not your average 2A is these two football teams that stepped on the field tonight on that turf at Legion Stadium. Highland Home and B.B. Comer. These are two teams that there's a lot of 3A, 4A, and 5A teams in the state that would not want any of Highland Home or B.B. Comer. Two really quality, great, top-of-the-line Class 2A football teams tonight.
Yes, sir. No doubt, man. I was super impressed with Highland Home and their preparation. And, we had seen a ton of film on them leading up to that. Those guys were well prepared for us, and I felt like we were well prepared for them as well. And just you know, you look at matchups, and you don't get a typical second round matchup where you got two top 4 teams in the state playing each other and beating on each other and going 4 quarters, and you know, it'll go down to probably one of the better games in the state this year, I would think, just back and forth, and some good calls, or not calls, but good plays and bad plays on both sides of the ball. And, you know, both teams made some mistakes. Both teams capitalized on some mistakes. So just good, hard football. And Highland Home has some guys that are tough, man. Bryce McKenzie, and their quarterback, is probably one of the toughest kids I've ever seen play. Just continued to take a licking and keep playing ball. And got tackled out of bounds over on our sideline, and ended up rolling into the table and cut his leg and kept playing. I mean, they taped him up, and he kept getting after it. So just hats off to those guys. A great battle, great game with no issues. There was not one unsportsmanlike penalty in the whole game, and that makes me proud of our guys and our opponents too. You know, after the game, all our guys were, you know, going through the line, just shaking hands and wishing everybody well and things like that. And ultimately, that's what it's about, man. Two teams going to battle, and at the end of it, giving each other the respect that they do and moving on. So proud of my guys, proud of the effort, and looking forward to being able to practice over Thanksgiving week. You know, if you're still practicing during Thanksgiving, there's some good things going on. So we're excited about that.
Absolutely. We're speaking now with head coach Adam Fawcett and our Noble Bank and Trust postgame presser, head football coach of the B.B. Comer Tigers. Coach, just watching Highland Home, preparation and scheme-wise, tell us about the challenges that they present to you, because they do some unique things offensively. Tell us about some of the challenges they presented in preparing your team scheme-wise.
Yeah, offensively, man, they lined up in some stuff that was tricky for us to stop, and kind of the double wing, the double tight stuff that they did, and running that, and we'd seen some of it. We knew there was some capabilities of some of it. They threw in a few wrinkles, a few misdirection things that we had not seen, so it did make it tough. And you know, we would bend and not break in certain situations, but at halftime, the conversation was, hey, we got to go up another score and get a stop. And if we can somehow get up 2 scores or more, we felt like we could get them out of that and get them into like a spread look or something like that. But man, they stuck to their guns and stayed with it and did really well with it. You know, obviously coming back, and then late in the game, you know, we get a couple stops, and then late in the game, they score, and very fortunate to get that onside kick and be able to take a knee to finish out the game.
Coach Fawcett, I've always said when there's a big-time Division I talent on the field, it's evident. You don't have to ask what number he is. And if you're watching B.B. Comer play, you don't have to ask, what's this Kamor Harris guy? What number is he? You don't have to ask that. The guy looks like a superhero. He's about 6'2" and 230, and he is put together as well. Tell us about him, but also your quarterback's fantastic. You got a lot of great players. Tell us about not only Harris, but these other great contributors on this B.B. Comer team.
Yeah, no doubt. Kamor's built like a brick house, and the running joke I have with Kamor is I always tell him I look like him when I was 18, so this is what he has to look forward to at 44. But yeah, man, Kamor is he has, man, he's continued to get better every year. Last year, I thought, man, this is a great athlete, one of the best athletes I've ever been around, much less had the opportunity to coach. Can he get better? And he's gotten better. And throughout our season, he's done so many things for us and been able to play. He's played in numerous positions. I mean, he's played quarterback, he's played receiver, he's played running back, he's played tight end, he's played sniffer. So his selflessness has been the key to our success this year because everybody keys on him. Everybody's going to find him. They're going to say, hey, you know what? We got a key on him. And that makes sense, obviously. But what he has done without the ball has been super impressive to me. And he's been very, very selfless. He has not complained about it or anything. And, you know, before tonight's game, you know, he wasn't leading 2A in rushing yards, but I bet he was leading them in yards per carry because he averages about 17 yards a carry.
Wow.
Because, you know, and in our games during the season, he doesn't have a carry in the fourth quarter until this game tonight. So 13 weeks into the season, he gets a fourth quarter carry. So the kid's special. And then after the game, we're sitting in the locker room talking to those guys, and he's sitting there just grinning, just like he's ready to go play another 4 quarters. I'm like, are you tired? He's like, no, I'm good. So, but yeah, he's special. Chris Wilson is another one that's special. Big, long arms, long leg kid, defensive end, offensive tackle for us. He also punts for us, just plays hard for us and does well. And then Devin Harvey, our quarterback and defensive back. Those 3 seniors lead the way for us, and they're the ones that are they're the veterans. They're the bell cows, and they're the ones that we lean on to get the work done. They're the ones we lean on to lead the team and to put us in the situations for us to be successful.
All right, Coach, the last 2 teams that have represented the South in Class 2A at the Super 7 have been Clark County and B.B. Comer. And now Clark County and B.B. Comer heads up. You played it before a couple of years ago, and now you're going down to Grove Hill to take on the Bulldogs. Your thought on this matchup between 2 of the, obviously, best programs in Class 2A football next week on Black Friday down in Southwest Alabama.
That's right. Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's going to be it's going to be a challenge for us. Obviously, they're a very good football team. Unique situation because their record doesn't. I don't know their overall record right now, but their record doesn't show it. I think at the end of the year they were 5-5 or 6-5 or 6-4 or something like that. But if you look at their non-region schedule, they played a hefty non-region schedule to prepare them for the playoffs, and then they swept their region. So they're going to be ready to play. I know Coach Carter pretty well, and he's going to have those guys ready to go, and they get to play at their house. So we've got to remember what it's like to go on the road again, and we've got to prepare this week and get ready for a tough challenge.
Coach, I just want to say thank you for the hospitality to our crew tonight. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Great atmosphere for high school football. It's what high school football, in my estimation, in this state is all about, the atmosphere tonight in Sylacauga. Congratulations to you and your football team on the big win. Best wishes, safe travels over the Thanksgiving holiday weekend as you head down to Grove Hill. Thank you for being with us here on our Noble Bank and Trust post-game presser here on After the Game.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Adam Fawcett, head coach of the B.B. Comer Tigers, winners tonight over Highland Home, 21-14. We come back. We'll continue with more of After the Game on a Football Friday night. Tons of highlights and brackets still to come.
Name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch. The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
This is High School Football Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Your county commission made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, supporting all the school systems here in Calhoun County, north to south across the county. Also, the great recreational sites that we have here, the great parks, all the great tourist attractions we have here. Calhoun County Commission supports our communities top to bottom, not just in the schools, but in the communities. Great work done by Fred, Danny, Carolyn, Terry, and Lee. Your Calhoun County Commission bringing you High School Football Alabama After the Game on a football Friday night. We mentioned earlier that we had our Oxford Festival of Lights opened up tonight at Choccolocco Park in Oxford. Oxford Festival of Lights bringing you our new feature this year, our Game of the Year. We're going to announce this coming up next Friday night on our last show, our Black Friday edition of the show. And we're bringing you the nominees again this week. Here's nominee number 3 in our Oxford Festival of Lights Game of the Year, and that was the game between Oxford and Pell City at Lamar Field in Oxford back on October the 6th. That was a game where Oxford fell behind to Pell City. You see Rush Probst there, and the Panthers came in. They led this game. It was a 4th down conversion, a 4th and 8 conversion by Oxford with less than a minute to go in the game to keep the drive alive. They were able to go down and score within the last minute of the game, a touchdown to win the game 25-21 as Oxford won that game over Pell City. A thrilling game that put Oxford in position to have home field advantage in the Class 6A playoffs as Oxford beat Pell City. And that is our Oxford Festival of Lights Game of the Year nominee number 3. All right, we have some special guests with us. We're going to turn serious for a moment here. Jason Boatman is here with the East Alabama Football Officials Association. Glad to have you with us. Tell us who you got with us. We got an award winner here tonight with us.
Yeah, we got Tyler Barger with us. He's first year official with us. He was our Rookie of the Year that we announced this year at our banquet. couple weeks ago.
You got a plaque over there. Show
Yes,
folks
sir.
the plaque you got. Yeah, there we go. The 2023 Rookie of the Year. Congratulations, Tyler. I was able to be there at the banquet when you gave the award to him. And you're here, though, for a specific reason tonight, not just to announce that, but we're speaking to all you guys and gals out there that may be big high school football fans that want to be more involved in the game. You got a challenge for those folks.
Yeah, come join us. We need officials. There's a shortage across the state, across the country, high school football officials. I mean, any sporting officials, basketball, softball, baseball. But, you know, I'm here for football.
Sure.
So, yeah, we need more officials and we need more bodies. I think last number I heard, I think it was like around 1,700 we had throughout the entire state. So, and I think Montgomery wants to get about 2,500 or 2,200, I think is what their magic number is.
This is a problem. I don't know, Jason, that the average fan out there really knows how big of a problem this is, because you guys do such a good job of covering this on Friday nights. But our officials associations, not just yours, but every officials association in this state is stretched manpower-wise on Friday nights. They're stretched to the limit right now.
That's correct. And I know one week I had to go Thursday and Friday. You know, it was in the first or second week of the season. I hadn't even been week 0, but I did a Thursday and a Friday. And there's several of our officials that had to do, double up.
And we have, just to be honest with you, we have a lot of older officials out there, and these guys can't do it forever. You need some young people. We want to especially appeal to young people. If you're in high school, if you're in college, right out of high school, want to earn some extra money, stay involved with high school football, this is a great way to do that. You need some young guys to come along now to replace these older guys as they, get too old to do this and retire.
Well, I mean, we've got one guy in our association. I think this was year 53 or 54 for him. But we need more guys like Tyler here. I mean, he come in this year and done an outstanding job for us. So we need some more young blood.
Tyler, tell us about being as a rookie and coming in. You're the perfect example of this. What led you to get involved in officiating? What caused you to pull the trigger and say, hey, I want to be involved with that?
Well, I've always loved football, and that was really the start of it. I've always wanted to kind of do it, and I didn't know how to get involved. And it was word of mouth. I found out about it and finally pulled the trigger on it and said, hey, this is the year I want to do it, and I loved it.
And these guys give you great support and great training, right?
It's hands-on. They teach all the way. We've got good people to lead you. I mean, so it's really good. It was very, very fun.
Folks want more information about this, they can go to the AHSAA website. There's there's a whole section there on just officiating if they want to poke around there. But directly, like with your association here in East Alabama, how do they get involved?
Well, we've got an email address, recruit EAFOA, or I think it's recruiteafoa@gmail.com.
Okay.
So shoot us an email. Noble Street Festival will be coming up in the spring. We'll have a booth set up there like we've had for the last couple of years. As always, I'll get the PSA stuff out to you guys and let y'all help us out any way we can. And then we're going to do some more of the stuff that we hadn't really ironed the details out exactly what we're going to do, but it's more directly involved with the schools about trying to get some of the ones that are graduating this year coming up. So that's the avenue we're going to try probably.
And to show, before we let you get out of here, how maybe urgent the situation is, there's a real possibility as soon as next year that it could be mandated that there be a certain number of games played on Thursday nights. That's a rumor going around. I think that's a real possibility because of the lack of officials. There could be schools that don't have a choice that say, hey, if we're going to have officials, we're going to have to play a lot of games on Thursday nights in the state, right?
That's what I've heard as well. So, I mean, you hear so much stuff, until it trickles down to us, we're usually the last ones to hear about it. We'll read about it on social media. But, like I said, you may have to do Thursday nights. And I think last year I had to go a couple of weeks, Thursday and Friday.
Absolutely. Thank you for what the officials do. These officials do a great job. Folks out there, if you're watching, listen, these guys don't have favorites. They don't care who wins and loses. They make mistakes like I make mistakes on this show every Friday night. They make mistakes, but they're honest mistakes. They're not out for any one school or to get one school or whatever. These guys have an incredibly hard job. It's a tough job. So pat these guys on the back. Tell them that you appreciate them. Guys, thank you for coming by.
Appreciate
being
you
with
having
us
us
on After the Game here on High School Football Alabama. Right now, it's time for our next Red Threads Extra Point. The AHSAA State Football Playoffs began in 1966 with the top 4 ranked teams in Class 4A. The next season, the playoffs expanded to the top 4 in all 4 classifications, and the playoffs expanded again in 1974 to include 8 teams and area play for the first time. The next playoff expansion came in 1984 with 6 classes and 5 rounds of playoffs, and then Class 7A was added in 2014. Tons of highlights and brackets still to come on a football Friday night on After the Game.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement, with physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Young Oil Grub Mart, all throughout this season, they brought you our muscle team, those nice black muscle team shirts. Grub Mart, great supporters of high school athletics, always have been for many, many years. They have the Super Saver card, the Marathon Rewards card. They're going to save you money on gas and a lot of other purchases there and reward you. Have a great website, grubmart.com. And they've got an app that's out now. They've got all kind of great things going on. Grub Mart is growing locations, about 13 locations in East Alabama, all the way from Cherokee County down to Lee County and all points in between, and more locations coming soon. Grub Mart bringing you high school football Alabama's after the game on a football Friday night. And we are back with Coach Short and Chad Barnett. They ran into all kinds of problems we documented earlier tonight just getting here tonight. One of the games they were going to tonight, which turned out to be one of the best games in the state, guys. Both of you guys were there. Yeah. Piedmont and Lauderdale County. Lauderdale County 11-0 coming in this game.
Yeah,
but and Piedmont coming in with a losing record. But hey, Piedmont's done this thing before, Chad. They know what this is about, this playoff action.
You're right, John. About a month ago, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that would say Piedmont would be hosting a game in the second round. But here we are, Bulldogs in the postseason for the 18th straight season. What an accomplishment is that? Facing Region 8 champion Lauderdale County at the Field of Champions. To the highlights we go. We got there at halftime from the little trip down Highway 9 from center. And at half, it's 21-17. Lauderdale County's on top. First drive of the third quarter. Going to have a beautiful throw and catch into the end zone for a touchdown. Lauderdale County with a score quickly on the first drive of the second half. 29-17 after the two-point conversion was good. But Piedmont would march back. Look at Murphy with a leap and the first down for the Bulldogs. He's going to give a first down at the 30. Same drive, 4th and goal from the 7. They're going to go to that man again, Ish Bethel. High points the ball, gets in there for a score, 29-24. Wanted to mention Rip Donovan. Like this guy, we see so many faces on the sideline that cover football like we do. I asked him how many games has he covered. He said too many to count. Maybe too many is what he said. Yeah, that's what he said. Big play here by Piedmont. They get the stop and the turnover as Lauderdale County was driving to really put this one away. So now 6 minutes to go. They got a chance to take the lead now in the fourth quarter. Who do they go to? Ish. Look at the moves he puts on. He just broke that kid's ankles. Literally takes it to the house. He's in there for the score, and Piedmont is on top now at home. And it looks like that Cinderella story is just going to keep playing this year. But a minute to go, Lauderdale County would drive it all the way down the field. This would be a 3rd and goal from the 5. A field goal would win it, but they're going to go to the ground anyway. Number 7 is going to be in for, or number 3 is in for 6, and that's going to give them back the lead. 35-30 now the score. We have about 20 seconds to go. Piedmont would have 4 shots from the 27-yard line to get in there. This one almost completed, just out of bounds, out of reach. So the final play of the game, could they come back and mount the comeback once again? 35-30, final play. And that's one's going to fall incomplete. So Piedmont cannot complete the comeback tonight. What a monumental finish to the season, though, where they were considering in Week 5. And they lose tonight at home. Tough one to Lauderdale County, 35-30.
Chad, those folks in Piedmont that have maybe weak hearts, they're tired of you coming to town because every time you come in there, there's a game that goes right down to the wire.
It's the first one didn't go to overtime, and I thought that it was going to be that final play, somebody's going to come down. You just had the feeling, even whenever Lauderdale County came down and scored, I felt it that they were going to find a way to get down the field. They had a minute level, 47 seconds to start that final drive. They had 2 timeouts. Marched it right down the field, had opportunities, just could not come up with that big play.
Coach Short, you got to give credit first to Lauderdale County. I mean, they're 12-0 for a reason. You know, the teams that have a season like Lauderdale County's having, they win games like that. But you also have to give credit to Piedmont. This is a team that had a losing record, and they won some tough football games down the stretch, made it to the second round of the playoffs, faced a lot of adversity this year. And just a tip of the hat to first-year coach Jonathan Miller and the Bulldogs for the resiliency. We've used that word a lot with a lot of teams this year, but it's true, the resiliency that Piedmont showed to get to the second round of the playoffs and take an undefeated team all the way to the end of the game.
Well, I was there for the beginning of the game because Chad was at Cherokee County, but just the atmosphere was unbelievable. I mean, the loud music, everybody was screaming and hollering. There was a good crowd for both sides. Piedmont standing room only. And the first half had just as many highlights as the second half did. And I guess to me, one of the bigger plays of the ball game was right there before halftime, and Piedmont's up, and one of the DBs from Piedmont fell down, and they were in Lauderdale County was able to have like a 60-yard touchdown pass, and they went in up at halftime. I thought that kind of was one of the bigger plays of the ball game, just right there. But yeah, you have to give credit to Piedmont. They did all the things they had to do to win a ball game tonight. And most people, like you said, counted them out a long time ago. Yeah. And that's why I think, one of the bigger plays of the game this year, because, you thought they were going to do it because of what they did against Hope's Bluff. Mm-hmm. They caused a fumble against Host Bluff that gave them a chance to go in overtime. They did that tonight. They caused a fumble, got the ball back, went down the field and scored. Another team comes down and scored. It was just a great ball game, a great second-round playoff game.
You mentioned the score right before half, and then they scored the first drive of the second half. So a 14-point swing like that, a lot of teams do not recover from that, especially when you've got a losing record. Everybody kind of expects you to lose the game. To still battle back and take the lead with 5 minutes to go. Hats off.
The one thing that hadn't changed is Piedmont still believes they're going to win.
100%.
And right there, the last 4 passes, they had to throw it to the end zone 4 times. There wasn't nobody in that stadium. There wasn't nobody on that sideline did not believe that they were going to win that game. It'll always be that way.
Yeah. Lauderdale County got all they wanted tonight from a tough opponent in Class 3A Region 6. They're going to get all they want and more again next week because they come back home to Rogersville, but they've got Geraldine coming in. Geraldine won at Gordo tonight. Not many teams go and do that. They're going to get another stern test from a 3A Region 6 team because we've seen Geraldine play. It's a really good football team.
Yeah. There's one thing that will not happen is Lauderdale County will not get an opportunity to return a kick. Because that kid will kick them out of the end zone. Watch and see.
We're going to take a look now at more of our brackets. We've got our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden brackets. We're up to Class 2A now. And as always, we begin in the South. Of course, we talked with the head coach of the B.B. Comer Tigers, Coach Adam Fawcett, earlier. His team winning tonight at home against Highland Home at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga, 21-14. They get Clark County. Clark County won against Goshen tonight. That game was at Goshen down in Pike County, 22-15. So the last 2 teams that have been to the Super 7 out of the South playing each other next week in Grove Hill. The Clark County Bulldogs coming in at 7-5. B.B. Comer ranked number 1 in the final poll. They are 12-0 next Friday night in Grove Hill at Clark County. The other game in the South will be Reeltown and Cottonwood. Reeltown beating Thorsby tonight 48-14 at Nix Webster O'Neill Stadium. Yes, that's the longest stadium name, I think, in the state. Down in Reeltown tonight. Reeltown, number 3 in the state, beating Thorsby 48-14 as they run their record to 11-0. And they'll take on the Cottonwood Bears. Cottonwood, number 7, they beat Isabella tonight 24-23 at Isabella over in Maplesville. So next week it will be Reeltown traveling to take on the Cottonwood Bears down in Houston County, right outside of Dothan, in the Wiregrass. And these are 2 more blue bloods of Class 2A football through the years. It's been a while for Cottonwood, but Reeltown and Cottonwood are 2 of the blue bloods of Class 2A football. We move to the north in Class 2A. Tuscaloosa Academy tonight. They were at home in Tuscaloosa against Southeastern. They won impressively 38-6. They will get Pisgah. Pisgah tonight was on the road at Tanner, and look at the score that Pisgah put up, 66-38 over the Tanner Rattlers over in Limestone County at Tanner. So next week it will be Tuscaloosa Academy, now 10-2, ranked number 8 in the state, coming into Sam Kennemer Stadium in Pisgah to take on the Pisgah Eagles, number 5 in the state. They are 11-1. Should be a great Class 2A quarterfinal round game. And the other game in the north next week, a game a lot of folks think is going to be a good game, and I agree with them. This is a matchup a lot of people have been looking at since about the middle of the season. Defending state champion Fife, winners over Lexington tonight. That game was at Paul Benefield Stadium in Fife. 57-24 over the Golden Bears. Locust Fork having their best season ever in school history. The Fork, of course, tonight was at home where they beat Sulligent 54-21. Almost identical scores there. So next week, Locust Fork travels from Blount County to DeKalb County to take on the Fife Red Devils at Paul Benefield Stadium. Fife number 2, Locust Fork number 6. Fife comes in at 11-1, the defending state champions. Locust Fork undefeated at 12-0. That's your Class 2A bracket presented by Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden. Time now for another Red Threads Extra Point on this football Friday night. Tonight's Class 3A second round game against Lauderdale County marked the 50th playoff game hosted by the Piedmont Bulldogs. Piedmont has made 27 playoff appearances and have played 87 playoff games. Heading into tonight's game, the Bulldogs' last home playoff loss before that loss tonight was in the 2017 semifinals to Randolph County, which is the best high school football game I've ever seen back in 2017 at the Field of Champions. And you're going to see a lot more brackets and a lot more highlights as we roll on After the Game.
the Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch. The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anderson Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Addison Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy. I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
We live in a world that moves quickly. And while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ, a place to use the gifts and talents God has given you, a place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
USA Softball of Alabama bringing you our scoreboard every Friday night throughout the season here on After the Game. They are the national governing body of softball in the United States and in Alabama. Got a great website, usasoftballofalabama.com. They also have a great Facebook page, USA Softball of Alabama, where they have tournaments going on all the time. Great information. You can go there and find out all kinds of things about USA Softball of Alabama. It is the nation's largest and fastest growing sports organization, going from just a few hundred teams to over 120,000 teams today, and they represent a membership of more than 1 million across the United States. Go to usasoftballofalabama.com or visit their Facebook page for more information. Back on After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission, Jon Holder with our entire hardworking team tonight, including Coach Michael Short and Chad Barnett. Time for more team sports highlights. We were everywhere. We were in Sylacauga. We were in Center, Gadsden, Piedmont, and we were even in Birmingham tonight, just a few blocks up from Legion Field for the 6A game, which we thought going in was going to be a great matchup between Parker and Oxford. And Chad, it lived up to the hype tonight.
Talent both sides, right? I mean, both sides very talented. You know, Mountain Brook head coach Chris Yeager, he's amassed 178 wins in his career. He's been at that high level of high school football for the past 22 years. When asked about his region rival Parker High School, Yeager said, quote, "College recruiters would save a lot of gas if they stopped by Parker first." Parker beat Mountain Brook for the region crown this year, and tonight they welcome the Oxford Yellow Jackets. Let's go to the highlights and see how Oxford did fare in the city of Birmingham. Oxford looking to break through to the second round for the first time under head coach Sam Adams. Starting off on offense for Oxford, Mason Mims is going to have a nice pass to DK Wilson, who's going to pick up a few extra yards down to the 45, get a first down. But We talked about how much they talked about the defensive line for Parker. They had studs all across, and this would stall the drive. Back-to-back sacks. Look at the size of zero. Just getting after it. That's a heck of a football team. Big front, and they were massive tonight on the defensive side. That drive would stall, so we're on offense now for Parker. Cam Jennings finding Malik Muhammad for the Parker first down. More offense for the Herd. Amari Brundage powers his way up the middle. More ground game. Naheem Offord runs just on the outside for another Parker first down to the 20-yard line. Amari Brundage now. He's going to move Parker inside the 10. A lot of physical hits, though, as you see. That would lead to a score. 7-0. Parker is on top. Oxford, though, back on offense, trying to get something going. Mason Mims finding Kamari Hampton, who shows off his skills. Oxford moves into Parker territory, and they are looking for points. On the ground now, Jaden Thomas. Big run up the middle. He's been phenomenal this season for the Yellow Jackets, providing that spark on the ground. More offense for the Yellow Jackets as Mason Mims finding DK Wilson again. That drive again would stall. Cam Jennings, Parker offense, they're driving, but Oxford would make them stall. So we're going back and forth, kind of trading defensive stops here. And then Mason Mims would put a stop to that. He goes to the air, finding Nick Richardson for the Oxford first down. He's going to go back to the well again. Richardson, fine baseball player in his own right. Another nice catch out of bounds again in Parker territory. Now Mims, this time he's going to go to the air to Jaden Thomas, who spins, refuses to go down. Beautiful run. That's going to set him up at about the 20-yard line. And then we're going to see a double handoff. Kamari Hampton would end up with it. And this would lead to a score, putting Oxford on top. But a little laundry on the field. This would come back because of the penalty. Oxford, instead of just sitting around and complaining about flags on the road in the playoffs. How many times have you heard of that? Lots. They would hit another pass down to the 10-yard line. This would lead to a score. Look at the quick snap, and they go to the air for a touchdown from Mason Mims to Kamari Hampton. PAT was good. The game is tied at 7 at this point. As you mentioned, John, phenomenal football game, just as we thought. Parker does edge the Yellow Jackets tonight, 21-14.
Yeah, and the story, talking with our photographer that was there, Jordan Smith, tonight, listening to the radio broadcast of the Oxford crew there with Barry and Chase and those guys, it seemed like they really did Parker, that we're going to get after Mason Mims. We're going to put a lot of pressure on him. You saw all those sacks there, and I think maybe that was the difference in the game, was that defensive pressure that defensive line from Parker brought on Oxford tonight.
Well, what it forced Oxford to do, and their coaches, they know what they're doing. They did an excellent job of not being able to, you're not going to throw the ball down the field. You're going to have to throw screen passes, sledge passes, anything across the middle, drag routes, all that kind of stuff. Just throw things short and allow those good receivers to make plays, which we saw there just to get that one touchdown. Yeah. They run a double reverse right there to be able to get that. But, Oxford was, the whole year, they're always outsized. They've been outsized all year, and they always kept coming back and playing. And they do the things they need to do to be able to overcome that lack of size up front, because a lot of those 6A schools from this point on will just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what you're going to see. And they did an excellent job in play calling tonight just to give themselves a chance. And, in Parker, it wasn't like it was a high-scoring game, so Oxford's defense showed up too.
Number 0 that we pointed out in the highlights there, he's committed to Auburn and gets a lot of comparison to another Auburn great defensive tackle. You may have heard of him, Nick Fairley. Similar in size and stature. He's going to be down in the Plains in the next few years. He was in the backfield tonight. Phenomenal across the front for Parker.
I think, guys, that Oxford, though, everybody was looking in the offseason, to the Oxford season. Still a relatively young team, mostly a junior-laden team. Yeah. And, the next steps, get a home playoff game. Now, let's get into the second, maybe the third round of the playoffs this year. Let's win 8 or 9 football games. I think everybody thought those would be good next steps for Oxford. And Coach, Oxford did all that. They got, I think, a lot of the goals that Oxford had for the season. I think Oxford met a lot of those, and I think you can see the progression of Sam Adams and the Oxford program. I think they definitely took a big step forward in 2023.
The one thing that people don't talk about is all the off-the-field things they had to deal with. building a new stadium. They've never been in a dressing room till this year. It's always been somewhere else. So that's different stuff that the average person would say, well, what's that matter? It matters a lot. When you change everything that a kid goes every day, they're dressing over there where the visitors dress now, and everything was different. Coaches are down there in a trailer. They were in the trailer park is where they were at. So
I don't think you're getting much sympathy from them now, though, where they're at now.
No.
Taj Mahal now.
It's the Taj Mahal
I totally
now,
understand what you mean. It was rough to get there.
Yes.
It was tough, yeah.
It was, and now they're there. So now they're, as a coach, you say, I got to win a few more. I got to compete for a region championship, and we got to figure out a way to get into that third and fourth round.
Well, I rewind this program, 2-3 years ago, they lost a lot. Not just coaches, lost a lot of players, and that's really hard to dig out of, even for the school with the student enrollment that they have. You lose that many big-time players to Auburn and all these other places, that creates a gap. And it takes a long time to fill that hole.
The biggest thing I can tell people from Oxford and everybody tonight is look for the December the 18th. That's going to be an important day in everybody, especially with Oxford, where they're going to end up.
Reclassification is coming. We're not done talking about the A.H. Parker Thundering Herd, because in a few moments we're going to take a look at some highlights of another team in East Alabama that is going to get their shot at the Parker Thundering Herd next week in Birmingham, talking about the Gadsden City Titans. But in the meantime, we are back to our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden brackets, and we're up to Class 3A now, and let's begin in the South. And boy, this Mobile Christian team looking mighty tough in Class 3A. Number 1 team in the state tonight, playing at home in Mobile. They beat Houston Academy out of Dothan by a score of 35 to 10 tonight as they win over Houston Academy. That game was down in Mobile. Mobile Christian had beaten Houston Academy last year in the first round. They beat them again tonight. They'll get Trinity Presbyterian. Remember that Flomaton team that beat Welborn last week 34-0? Trinity Presbyterian tonight was on the road at Flomaton at Hurricane Stadium, and they beat Flomaton 35-0. Huge game next week. This will be in Montgomery. Trinity Presbyterian 11-1, hosting 12-0 and number 1 ranked Mobile Christian, the Leopards of Coach Ronnie Cottrell, coming to Montgomery next week. The other game in Class 3A in the South is going to feature the defending state champion, St. James of Montgomery, taking on Thomasville. St. James tonight beating Randolph County in Montgomery 41-6. Thomasville tonight, they were on the road at Strawn, right outside of Andalusia in the heart of South Alabama. Thomasville beating Strawn 33-21. So next week, good matchup coming here. Number 7 Thomasville hosting number 6 St. James. That will be in Thomasville. St. James 10-2, Thomasville at 10-1. We come to the north in Class 3A. Tonight, Geraldine goes on the road and beats Gordo, as we mentioned earlier, 42-34 at Gordo. Lauderdale County remains undefeated with that 35-30 win at Piedmont tonight. Next week, another good matchup in the north. Geraldine, number 8 in the state, 11-1, going in to take on 12-0 Lauderdale County. That game will be in Rogersville next Friday night, as you'll see that matchup between Lauderdale County Tigers and the Geraldine Bulldogs in the Class 3A quarterfinal round. Now, the other game in the north, this is going to be a good one too. Madison Academy at home in Madison, taking on Sylvania. Last year, Sylvania beat them 48-45 in overtime. So that's a preview of what we can expect. Tonight, Madison Academy knocked out Mars Hill Bible. This was number 2 Madison Academy against number 4 Mars Hill Bible. Madison Academy wins the game 21-14. Sylvania tonight was at home. They beat Winfield 35-10. So next week, Sylvania 10-2, ranked number 9, goes to number 2 Madison Academy. The Mustangs are coming in with a mark of 12-0. They are undefeated, and that is your Class 3A bracket presented by Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden. More highlights, more brackets as we roll on a Football Friday night.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch. The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anderson Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated.
Dedicated. Dedicated to what moves you.
Aniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
There's a lot to think about when you're having a baby. Colors of the nursery, names, and most importantly, where to deliver.
We want a hospital that gives families a more personalized birthing experience.
With a compassionate team of doctors and nurses, and a hospital where my baby and I can instantly bond with all the comforts of home.
So where do we find all that?
Right here at RMC, the first designated baby-friendly hospital in Alabama.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Aniston.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy.
I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
Aniston Orthopedics brings you our score shirts for our Ted's Floors and Beyond Team of the Week throughout the year. But Aniston Orthopedics, hey, they are great supporters of high school athletics here in East Alabama. They are the longest standing orthopedic practice here in East Alabama. They have 6 highly skilled, kind, experienced physicians. Doctors Vandervoort, Dr. Dwayne D. Tippett, Dr. Dwayne Michael Tippett, Dr. Hardy, Dr. Wiedmer, Dr. Morris. They also have great sports medicine trainers that are on the sidelines every week at local high school games. They are continuing to provide a legacy of outstanding sports injury care on and off the field, keeping our players here in East Alabama in the game. Aniston Orthopedics. Back on high school football, Alabama, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. After the game, Jon Holder, Coach Michael Short, and Chad Barnett with us. My crew tonight, we're all traveling a little bit further than we would like to. So I made the 1-hour trip with Namath Pitts and Don Wilson. We made it down to Sylacauga. As I told Adam Fawcett, the head coach at BB Comer's, we came into town, as you come in on Highway 21, you come around the curve there by the Jacks, by the park there. There was unbelievable railroad tracks. That's right.
Railroad track.
The not a river, but railroad tracks.
I got a good nugget coming up here, by the way. Later on the show, I'm going to keep it up.
The electricity in that town was unbelievable. You had to park a long way away from the stadium, people parking blocks away from the stadium. This was at 6:15. This is 45 minutes before kickoff. You couldn't find a parking place within blocks of Legion Stadium. Then you get in there, just a great atmosphere. The fantastic band, Highland Home, coming 3 hours from Crenshaw County. They brought a huge crowd as well. Great football teams, just a great atmosphere for Class 2A football tonight. Really enjoyed ourselves. And then a great game on top of that between these two teams, as we told Coach Fawcett, they beat a lot of 3A, 4A, and 5A teams, a lot of them. These are two atypical Class 2A football teams.
Yeah, the B.B. Comer Tigers have been suffocating this season. How much so? Well, the Tigers have only given up more than 13 points just once this season. Average margin of victory, 43-6. But in rolls in the 4th-ranked Highland Home squadron. They also average over 40 a game. Their only loss this season came at the hands of Reeltown. We know what Reeltown's like, right? Reeltown's really good. All right, let's go to the highlights and check out the scores for what was going on at Legion Stadium. Semifinal game last year, B.B. Comer handled the squadron by 29. Legion Stadium packed tonight over the top 10 matchup. There you see head coach Adam Fawcett. Highland Home is going to be on the offensive spot for the first drive. Going to be a fumble, then picked it up. It's going to be a gain of 5 yards. They're going to go to the air now. Bryce McKenzie for a 10-yard pass. The squadron are looking good. Big first down there. More offense for the squadron. Austin Norman going to be on the ground. This is actually Bryce McKenzie. Namath, the photographer, he did make it back. He didn't go down on that one. That was a 32-yard run. Next play, Austin Crittenden fumbles, recovered by B.B. Comer. That was at the 6-yard line. That was going in for a score for Highland Home. So that was a big turnover. B.B. Comer now with the ball. Massive run by Kamari Harris, and then Devin Haney for an 11-yard run. And this opened my eyes. I had not seen this kid yet. 60 yards. Oh, my goodness.
And those are fast DBs.
Yeah, well, they didn't look that fast compared to that guy because he was chucking. That was a 60-yard. Yeah, he was a big kid too. 60-yard touchdown run, 2-point conversion by Harvey is good. So B.B. Comer is up 8-0. Highland Home, Bryce McKenzie back on the ground. Again, this kid's quick, and he goes for 38 yards for a first down over the left side, and Highland Home is in marching distance from the goal line. 4th and 2. Comer, 25-yard line. McKenzie for the 4-yard run for a first down. Highland Home, though, facing a 4th and 5. A couple plays later, McKenzie's pass going to be incomplete. They could not get the points on the board, and they would need those. So they had red zone there, the red zone at the 6 in that first drive. They lose by 7. Defense stepping up big when they had to for B.B. Comer.
I think underrated in this game, Chad, was that play where Namath kind of had an encounter with the official over there a little bit, backed into him. That 32-yard run took it to the 10, and then the next play, they phoned the ball at the 6-yard line. That was a huge play in the game, not only for momentum, but that basically looked like Highland Home was going to go in and score in that game. This was, and Coach Fawcett made special mention in our interview with him earlier about Bryce McKenzie, that quarterback. Just a great, I made the comment, this is the perfect quarterback for Steve Smith. He was the same kind of quarterback that Coach Smith has had all those years at Piedmont, and it was just one of those guys that, not the greatest, not a 5-star, anything like that, but a guy that's just a great Class 2A high school football player. And speaking of a great high school football player, Kamari Harris.
Yeah, that kid.
Wow.
He's impressive. What year is he?
He is a senior. Committed to Memphis. Okay. But that's a commitment. That's not a signee. Okay. Coach, I wouldn't be surprised if he wound up in the SEC at some point in time.
Yeah, and he may go somewhere and then, you know how they transfer now.
Yeah, they do.
The thing that was impressive to me all year is their scores have been they've been blowing people out. And tonight they're finally caught up into a 4-quarter game. And everybody out there on the field, that's so different when you haven't been doing it. So they've done a good job in conditioning in the past couple of weeks because they knew eventually that was going to happen, and it's going to may not happen this next week. But boy, I'm already seeing something with Reeltown and B.B. Comer playing. But they're going to have to do that. So I was impressed with the fact that they were able to play 4 quarters, and that may have been why the game was even closer than it was, because just not playing it. I mean, if you're not used to it, it gets on you.
Beating everybody 43-6, and everybody's expecting all these points because both offenses have just been juggernauts this year, and both 3 touchdowns or less.
And as you get deeper in the playoffs, probably from 4A down, you're going to start seeing those scores go down because everybody can play defense.
Yeah, the defense of B.B. Comer vastly underrated. And let's talk about the B.B. Comer quarterback too, Devin Harvey. Really great guy, can throw the ball, run the ball, great athlete there. They've just got a lot of weapons. Don Wilson made the comment when they were out there warming up, he's like, this does not look like a Class 2A football team. They look like a 5A football team. And for all intents and purposes, they pretty much are as far as a talent and skill level goes.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And when you see him, I mean, it's hard for anybody, but much less you start talking about 2A players having to tackle a tank. I mean, that's what it's like tackling him. People in 4 quarters don't want to tackle him anymore.
It's called a business decision.
Yes. hand it to him.
You either decide to make the tackle, or you make a business decision and say, you know what, I'm just going to
live longer, live a longer life.
Get in the shoulder pad the way through. That's a big kid.
And the quarterback, you mentioned it. If you don't have him, then everybody can put 8 and 9 people in the box in order to stop Harris, but they don't. So they do have other weapons where they can hurt you outside, the inside, up the middle. And again, I think they got a pretty good kicking game because I've heard Fawcett talk about it. But I want to say this about Coach Fawcett. Not only does he have a good football team, but he does a great job on the man side of it, of teaching those kids to do the right things and be the right kind of people.
A lot of positives I saw tonight with that B.B. Comer program. If they can beat Clark County, Reeltown can beat Cottonwood. They'll both be favorites. Not easy games. Clark County won't be easy. Cottonwood won't be easy. But if they do, then the night before the SEC championship game, the first day of December, we'll get the matchup that everybody's been looking at, Reeltown and B.B. Comer. Let's take a look at our next Oxford Festival of Lights Game of the Year nominee. We're up to number 4. This is a game that I had the pleasure of being at. Randolph County hosting Walter Welborn down at Hugh and Humphreys Stadium, and also Ron Waters Field down in Wedowee. This is a game where, as you can see, Randolph County jumped out to a 12-0 lead early, but Walter Welborn came all the way back, and they scored with 2.2 seconds to go in the game, the winning touchdown to win this game over Randolph County, 30-25. This was, for all intents and purposes, the Class 3A Region 4 championship game. Welborn won their first region championship in 28 years with this win on that touchdown run by Jabari Williams with 2.2 seconds to go in the game. And what a win it was for Walter Welborn. One of the best games, obviously, played this year at East Alabama, our Oxford Festival of Lights. Game of the Year nominee number 4, Randolph County and Walter Welborn from back in October down in Wedowee, Alabama. Now, we are going to go through the Class 4A brackets now as we head back to our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden brackets. Class 4A in the South. We've been talking about the Jackson Aggies. Jackson handled the defending state champion in Class 4A, Andalusia, tonight down at Legion Field in Jackson, 31-7 tonight. And Booker T. Washington with that upset win in Tuskegee. They beat Hanley 22-9 tonight. And so next week it will be Jackson traveling to Tuskegee to take on Booker T. Washington. Jackson, number 2 in the state, 11-0. Booker T. Washington comes into that game at 8-4. The other game in the South, yes, in the South, Jacksonville, in case you didn't know, is in the South, according to AHSAA. Jacksonville beats Bibb County for the second time in 2 years, and they did it in the last minute of the game again. They did it in Centerville again. They did it by 7 points again. Jacksonville, number 8 team in the state, over Bibb County tonight in Centerville, 28-21. Jacksonville back at home at Golden Eagle Stadium next Friday night on Black Friday. If you're looking for something to do on Thanksgiving weekend, go out and see the Golden Eagles. They'll take on Montgomery Catholic. Montgomery Catholic is 12-0, the number 1 ranked team in the state. They beat T.R. Miller tonight in the game in Montgomery, 24-14. So next week, number 1 ranked Montgomery Catholic, Golden Eagle Stadium against Jacksonville. Jacksonville 10-2. Montgomery Catholic 12-0. Last year they played in the second round. Montgomery Catholic won 44-27, but that game was a lot closer than the score indicates. Great game coming up next Friday night in Jacksonville. Now, truly into North Alabama, Brooks out of Killen, they beat Priceville tonight in Killen, 70-42. They'll take on Westminster Christian out of Huntsville. They outscored Deschler tonight in Huntsville, 39-35. So next week, 2 unranked teams in the quarterfinals. Westminster Christian, 10-2. They travel down Highway 72 to Killen to take on the Brooks Lions, who come in at 8-4. And the matchup that everybody's kind of been pointing to in the North all season long, potentially in the playoffs, is the game that will happen next week at West Morgan High School in Trinity, and that's the game between West Morgan and Cherokee County. West Morgan tonight beat Corner. That game was at Corner in Jefferson County, 35-14. Cherokee County beating Haleyville 49-14. Next week, Cherokee County goes to Trinity to take on the West Morgan Rebels. West Morgan, number 5 in the state, they're 12-0. Cherokee County ranked number 4. They are 11-1. That's the #1 offense in the state in any classification. West Morgan into the regular season averaging 55 points a game. Next Friday night, West Morgan and Cherokee County. They played last year in Center in the second round. Cherokee County won the game 42-28. They meet again next week in Morgan County. Back with more of high school football Alabama's After the Game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
More teen sports highlights coming your way. Teen Sports services over 100 schools all across the state of Alabama with Adidas, Under Armour, Wilson, Richardson, Rawlings, Rydell, The Game, and many more. They can provide all your sporting good needs, apparels and jerseys, accessories, equipment. They've got everything from scorebooks and jerseys to basketball goals and tackling dummies. They're locally and family owned and operated. Their focus is quality and customer service. They've been in business since 2008. That's 15 years. Located on the old Fort McClellan in Anniston at 135 Exchange Avenue. And by the way, that storefront, that public storefront is coming soon. Going to be very nice. Teen Sports, great supporters of high school football Alabama after the game. Back with Coach Short and Chad. More teen sports highlights coming our way. We had earlier in the program the head coach of the Coosa Christian Conquerors, Mark O'Brien. His team looking like a serious contender for Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah, you know, this is a rematch of a 2022 third-round playoff game. You know, last year, Lynn made the trek from the banks of the longest natural bridge east of the Rockies, all the way to Gadsden, Alabama. Y'all know that? You know about where's the river? Where's the railroad tracks? I don't know, but I know.
The river is right close to Coosa.
Well, I mean, I guess yeah, there you go. There you go. It's kind of an inside joke. If you've been playing along the last few weeks, their knowledge of all this stuff that's around these stadiums and all the state is just amazing. So, Natural Bridge over there close to Lynn. Anyway, they made the trek. They made the trek last year. We actually went and visited that earlier this year. Pretty cool. But tonight, they make the trek again, hoping for a different result because last year, Conquerors handled business on their way to a semifinal round bid. Let's go to the highlights and check it out, see how those Warriors look like. Still looking for their first run to a state championship game in their short AHSAA history. Coosa with the ball. John Hester gets the first down off the handoff. They're going to go more to the ground. Back to Hester, another first down run for the Conquerors. A few plays later, Grayson Malone, he's going to punch it in for the score. What a tough run. 4 guys hanging on his back. He gets in there for the touchdown. 7-0 Conquerors. There you see head coach O'Brien's guest of the show earlier tonight. Seemingly going to sleep well tonight as his Conquerors look pretty good. Coosa back on offense. John David Justice airs it out to Elijah Moats for a first down. Next play, Justice is going to call his own number this time, go over the left side. He's going to get in there for the end zone, stretching the ball out. Touchdown, 14-0 now. Fight on, Conquerors at home. Lynn now with the ball. They're going to go to Matthew Tittle. He's going to get the big first down run over the right side. Tough running all the way down inside the Conquerors territory. A few plays later, Tittle's going to fight for another first down for the Bears. Next play, Tittle, it's been working so far. He's going to go back, call his own number again. This time he's going to get into the end zone for the touchdown. That's 6, 14-6, but extra point is going to be blocked. Coosa with a massive win tonight on at home in the playoffs as they move on. 28-6, still looking good on the season, y'all.
And what you talked about, teams not looking like typical 2A teams or 3A teams and so forth, go short. This Coosa Christian team, the understatement of the night is they do not look like your typical Class 1A football team.
That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at them, you look more like a large 2A or a 3A school.
And they have been putting it up this year. This has been a team. You know, you look at the record, you got to count the forfeits in there. But they lost to Geraldine in week 0. All right, since that, and we see where Geraldine is now. Probably one of the best 3A teams in North Alabama. And so you go from that. They haven't lost on the field since. And to be honest with you, they haven't really been challenged since then.
Yeah, that's probably one of their closer games.
Yes.
Yeah. Was tonight. But there's going to be a match. I mean, I'm not into looking ahead, but I am.
Well, you do that these days.
Yeah, I see a team from Wadley, and I see a team from Coosa on a train wreck going at each other.
Wadley's got a tougher task. They've got to go to Pickens County,
yes.
and the state title for the North always runs through Reform. And they beat Wadley last year 34-15 over in Reform. So this is a team that knows how to win. Michael Williams, former Alabama tight end, head coach over there. They've been there. They've been to Super Sevens. They know what it's about. You know, to be honest with you, Coosa Christian will be back at home next week at Philip Ellen Field. They played Hackleburg last year in the first round of the playoffs and beat them 51-8. So Hackleburg comes again. By the way, Hackleburg, you know what's in Hackleburg?
I'm ready.
Yeah. Hey, have you ever heard of the Dismals Canyon? Where they have the Dismalites. It's the only place in the world where they have glow-in-the-dark worms that come out at night in the summertime.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And do you know what river?
National Geographic.
Do you know what river?
Right there next to Hackleburg. Right
Do
there.
you know what river is right beside Coosa Christian?
I'm about to find out.
The Coosa.
The Coosa. There you go. That makes sense. Coosa, yeah.
And Gadsden City, too.
I had my mind spinning earlier. I didn't really have time to be on my feet for that one. So it's also 12:15 at night. So
it is.
We are definitely ready now to go to our T1 Chevrolet of Gadsden brackets. It's the Class 5A brackets now. And as always, we begin in the South. Number 1, Gulf Shores tonight. They play Charles Henderson of Troy at home. And Charles Henderson, the state runner-up last year, they represented the South. They go into Gulf Shores tonight. Gulf Shores routs them 41-0. And how about this? Headland beats UMS Wright Prep tonight. The game was down in Henry County at Headland. Headland beats UMS Wright 35-21. We thought we might get a Gulf Shores UMS Wright rematch from the regular season, but instead it will be Gulf Shores making the long trip over to the Wiregrass to take on the Headland Rams. Gulf Shores ranked number 1, 12-0. Headland is 10-2. The other game in the South is going to feature, again, 2 Blue Bloods of 5A football, Demopolis and Eufaula. Demopolis tonight beating BC Rain of Mobile in Mobile 13-6. Eufaula, not surprised that they won the game, but they beat a very good Faith Academy team 41-14. So next Friday night, how about this one? All the way from east to west, Eufaula on the Georgia line, going to the Mississippi line to take on Demopolis. Eufaula 9-3, Demopolis ranked number 10 at 10-2. In the north, some great games in 5A coming up next week. Ramsey tonight routed the Leeds Greenway 42-7 at Walson Field in Birmingham. They'll get Moody. Moody doubled up traditional power Russellville 42-21 tonight over at Bill Morris Stadium. So next week it will be Ramsey making the short trip out I-20 to Moody to take on the Blue Devils. Ramsey, your defending Class 5A state champion, ranked number 2 in the state, 10-2, taking on 10-2 Moody, ranked number 6 in the last ASWA poll. And the final game in 5A in the north will be a game that's going to take place, speaking of water, on the shores of Lake Gunnersville at Chorba-Lee Stadium in Gunnersville next week, as we'll have Gunnersville and Pleasant Grove. Tonight, Gunnersville was down. They had to come from behind to win in Homewood against John Carroll Catholic 20-17. They'll take on Pleasant Grove. Pleasant Grove was actually down 7-0 tonight at Dr. Corley Stadium in Boaz. Pleasant Grove scored the next 49. Pleasant Grove beat Boaz 49-7. So next week it will be number 8 Gunnersville hosting number 4 Pleasant Grove at Chorba-Lee Stadium in Gunnersville. Gunnersville 11-1, Pleasant Grove 10-1. Coach.
And Chad, Eufaula sitting right on the shores of the Chattahoochee River. Demopolis, the Tom Bigby River, right beside it.
Goes right through town, and Gunnersville, technically on the Tennessee River, runs right through Gunnersville. Gunnersville and Pleasant Grove next week on the Class 5A quarterfinals. We'll be back. We've got more highlights and more brackets as after the game rolls on.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Terry Howell, Danny Shears, Fred Wilson, Carolyn Henderson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you are considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
The Coosa Valley, on the banks of the Coosa River in Gadsden, Alabama. Fishing, boating, and paddling, and home to Team One Chevrolet. Team One Chevy has been serving generations for years. Even the grandkids are grown. Come by and see why so many people come back to Team One Chevy in Gadsden.
Home of the best people, the best service, period.
When you shop at Pee Wee Turner Motors, you will be a winner. As lifelong supporters of East Alabama athletics, we at Pee Wee Turner Motors would like to invite you to check out our quality inventory of trucks, cars, and SUVs at peeweeturnermotors.net. We always guarantee credit approval and look forward to serving you and your family at Pee Wee Turner Motors on Quintard Avenue, Anniston.
pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy.
I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
Red Threads, powered by O-Brand. They bring you, they're great folks, great supporters of high school football, Alabama. They provide great T-shirts. They provide our Team of the Week shirts from Aston Orthopedics and our Young Oil Grub Mart Muscle Team shirts. But they also have a storefront on the square in Jacksonville where they have great officially licensed JSU apparel, local high school team gear, and they can do custom apparel like they do for us with your event or your company. Go by and see them. Tomorrow, Jack State has their last home game of the year. Louisiana Tech Bulldogs are in town tomorrow. Stop by Red Threads. You will not be disappointed right there on the square in Jacksonville. Well, we mentioned earlier the Parker Thundering Herd. Their opponent next week in the quarterfinals of the Class 6A playoffs will be the Gadsden City Titans. Revenge game tonight for the Titans, taking on Hartsel. And what a great win by Gadsden City. They were down 15-14 and scored late in the game and won the game over Hartsel. I think, guys, well, I'll tell you what I think. Let's get to the highlights first of Gadsden City and Hartsel tonight.
Gadsden City Titans have improved every year since Ollie Smith took over. They lost 9 games in their first year under his head coaching tenure. They trimmed that all the way down to 3 this season. Tonight, they actually have a chance to avenge one of those losses on the season as they take on 6th-ranked Hartsel as they come to town. Let's go to the highlights in Titan Stadium. As you know, Hartsel pulled out the win in Week 5. Besting them by 3. So we arrive in the start of the third, 7-7, Gadsden City and Hartsel tied up. Gadsden City's opening possession, Letterman Yao gets the handoff, and he's going to go not whistled down, and he's going to take it all the way to the house for the score, 14-7, Gadsden City on top. Hartsel now on offense. Gadsden City's Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. with a shot. Look who's happy, dapping him up as dad. Gotta love to see that. Dre Kirkpatrick on the sideline. That puts Gadsden City back on offense, and Yao will get the first down. Kai Franklin, he's going to get up another first down for the Titans as he's going to take it and run it up the gut for himself. Field goal, though, for Gadsden City would be blocked, and that was big because I was going to put him up by 2 scores. So we still have a 14-7 game. Time winding down in this one. Hartsel's Noah Lee, he's going to connect with Jaden Morris for a first down for Hartsel. Nice gang tackling there by Gadsden City. A few plays later, Peyton Steele, he's going to punch it in, and Hartsel is back in this end zone. They're going to go for not 1 but 2 to take the lead. Late in the game, they get in, 15-14. Now Hartsel is on top. But Ollie Smith rallying the troops. One final drive. Gadsden City with a 3rd and 23. Franklin is going to find a way to get the first down. Talk about massive. Next play, Franklin's finding Xavier Curry. Actually, this is the 3rd and 23 here. Beautiful run here. Just a lot of runs by the Gadsden City quarterback, keeping those sticks moving. And they weren't done. As I mentioned, Franklin's going to find Xavier Curry for the touchdown. That would be huge. Titans now go for 2, and it's a reverse play. Justin Peoples with 23 seconds left. The Titans win 22-14. Massive win for the Titans as they avenge one of the 3 losses on the season. They move to 9-3. Big win tonight.
Let's put this into context here because Gadsden City lost at Hartsel mid-season. Hartsel beat them 31-28, but it was 31-21. Gadsden City scored late to make it 31-28. So this game back at Gadsden City with much more on the line in the second round of the playoffs. For Gadsden City to win this game, came from behind a couple of times to win in this game. And that little double inside reverse play for the game-winning touchdown and 2-point conversion, winning that game 22-15 tonight over a very good Hartsel team. Hartsel beat Oxford earlier in the year. This is what I was going to say earlier. I think that this is the biggest win that Ollie Smith has had as head coach at Gadsden City.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. And the thing that you're seeing, not just them tonight, but if you notice all the 6A scores, all these high-scoring teams tonight. We're seeing defense being played. The scores were a lot lower than what they normally are. And Coach Smith is known for his defensive prowess. I mean, he's a defensive-minded guy. And that's what Gadsden City is always going to do. And by watching their film, I haven't personally seen them this year, but watching enough there to know that their defensive front is big enough and good enough to give them a chance next week versus Parker.
Absolutely. Going to take on Parker. That game is going to be down at Major Brown Memorial Stadium in downtown Birmingham, in essence, next week. I think that's going to be a great Class 6A quarterfinal round game. I'll tell you this, too, about Gadsden City. Coach, back at the media day in July at the Downtown Recreation Center in Gadsden, not Ollie Smith, the players that were interviewed, I think he brought 4 players with him to media day. Those 4 players, you'll remember this, Coach, they were asked the question about taking the next step, and this was as hungry of a football team as I've seen. They all to a man said, we feel like we are way better than a second-round playoff team. We are out to prove that we are going to go beyond the second round. We feel like we are one of the top 6A teams in the state. We feel like we can contend for a state championship. And, Coach, those players are proving it right now.
They are, and the thing that I've noticed over the past couple of years by watching them is they're getting better and better every year up front on both sides of the ball. They're getting bigger, which is you got to have in 6A football. You got to have those big offensive and defensive linemen. You can be small, but if you're small, you got to be very fast, and you got to be fortunate too, because those big offensive linemen will push on you and push you out of the way. And that's the thing I've seen at Gadsden City. And they had a guy there at the media day that was a giant. And that's what you're noticing now. They've got a lot bigger people on both sides of the ball, and that's going to give them a chance against anybody they play in 6A football.
They've had runs before. Joe Billingsley had a couple phenomenal seasons with them back when they first became Gadsden City. And then they had a couple of other runs. I think they either played Hoover or Spain Park in the semifinal game and lost it. So this is a team that historically has had deep runs in them. But as we talked about, Ollie Smith, when he took over, they were 1-9 just a few years ago. And now they're going to the third round of the playoffs. So getting that confidence back to become what Gadsden City was at one point, it's good to see that tonight.
I think Ollie Smith, you got to start considering him now for some Coach of the Year honors with the job he's done at Gadsden City. Time for our final Oxford Festival of Lights nominee for Game of the Year. We'll make this announcement next Friday night right here on After the Game. And this brings us to the classic that they'll be talking about for a long time. The Battle of Highway 278 East at the Field of Champions in Piedmont. A playoff berth on the line for the Bulldogs. It was win or go home. And the Bulldogs go into overtime with their rival from Hoax Bluff, and they not only score, but they go for a 2-point conversion to win the football game 22-21, and that put Piedmont with a loss by AHSAA to Plainview into the Class 3A state playoffs for the 27th time. And not only that, they took advantage, won their first round playoff game, and tonight very nearly won their second round playoff game to prove that it was not a fluke, that it was for sure deserving to be there. Chad Barnett shot all this excellent footage up there at Piedmont in one of the thrilling games that we've seen, and an impactful game in a long time, Chad, here in East Alabama.
You know, Coach and I were talking as you were kind of going through that. It was funny because tonight had such the same feel whenever Hoax Bluff was going to take the lead, or extend the lead there at the first drive of the third quarter. Piedmont gets the big turnover whenever they had to in that game, and it was right in the same spot that they got it tonight when they came down and took the lead again. It was so many similarities to this game that played out tonight. They just didn't have that final piece to the puzzle.
And you saw that touchdown pass they just threw there over on the home side left corner. You shot one tonight.
Yeah,
same place.
Same thing.
Same place.
Yeah.
Same type of run.
Our Game of the Year nominee, Piedmont and Hoax Bluff, will announce that next week. In the meantime, don't forget Oxford Festival of Lights. They're open now. Going to be chilly tomorrow night, so take the family and go out and check that out. And we'll have some folks with us next week from the Oxford Festival of Lights that'll help us make that presentation, and also talk about all the things they have going on at Choccolocca Park this year. When we come back after the break, a couple more brackets to go through and a little bit more as we wrap things up on this Football Friday night.
After 15 years of supplying top quality, name brand sports equipment and team apparel to hundreds of Alabama schools, coaches, and athletes, and continuing to provide custom uniforms, embroidery, and screen printing, Team Sports is adding a new player. Coming soon, McClellan Sports and Outdoors. Whether you're an athlete in search of football helmets, bats, or even cleats, or an outdoor enthusiast in search of apparel from top brands, McClellan Sports and Outdoors has you covered. Visit McClellansports.com for more information.
I can't imagine life without Gwen, but we came dangerously close.
I was having chest pains.
Luckily, there was a hospital nearby that quickly discovered one of her arteries was 100% blocked. A hospital with life-saving technology and the latest in cardiac treatment, with an experienced team of doctors and nurses focused on fixing Gwen's heart. What hospital had all of that?
It was all right here at RMC.
What does it mean to be a community bank? At Noble Bank and Trust, it means you're more than an account number, you're a valued member of our community. Whether it's checking, savings, a loan, mortgage, or line of credit, Noble Bank and Trust meets all your banking needs with exceptional technology customized just for you while making you feel right at home. Make the switch to Noble Bank and Trust, and we will make sure you're taken care of from beginning to end. Noble Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
The game-winning touchdown.
A goal line stand.
The perfect catch. The perfect stop.
These are the moments that move you, but when a sports injury puts you on the sidelines, it's our job to get you moving again.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates is the longest-standing orthopedic practice in East Alabama, providing exceptional care to thousands of athletes.
Shaping the next generation of legends.
Dedicated to what moves you.
Anniston Orthopedic Associates, 8 a.m. Saturday Sports Injury Clinic. Every football season Saturday, 701 Layton Avenue, 3rd floor, Tyler Center.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Our last Red Threads extra point of the night is going to tell us about our last after the game. Next Friday night, Black Friday, will be the last after the game show of the 2023 season. We will announce the concession stand of the year, the game of the year. We'll announce our finalists for the team of the year, and we will be joined in studio by several special guests. So join us back here for a full 2-hour show coming up next Friday night at 10 o'clock live on Facebook and YouTube. Back on High School Football Alabama after the game, presented by the Calhoun County Commission. Jon Holder, Coach Michael Short, Chad Barnett with us. 2 more brackets to go through, so let's begin now going back to our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden brackets. We're up to Class 6A. Number 1 Saraland just continues to roll. I want to see Saraland and Central Phoenix City. It's not going to be possible. They're in different classes, but I'd love to see that game. Saraland, number 1 team and defending state champion in Class 6A, coming up to Birmingham tonight and beating Briarwood Christian 51-14. Hillcrest Tuscaloosa, if there's a team that maybe can give them some trouble in the South, it may be Hillcrest. They beat Helena tonight 42-7 down in Tuscaloosa. So next week, a great matchup. We get number 3 Hillcrest traveling to play at number 1 Saraland. Saraland 12-0, Hillcrest Tuscaloosa also 12-0. The other game in the South, Benjamin Russell. How about the Wildcats winning tonight against Hueytown 47-27 down at the Sportsplex in Ellick City? They get Pike Road. Last year, Pike Road beat Spanish Fort by a point in the first round. Tonight, they beat them by 14. Pike Road beating Spanish Fort tonight at Pike Road 31-17. So next week, it's going to be Pike Road traveling to Martin Savary Stadium at the Sportsplex in Ellick City to take on the Ben Russell Wildcats. Pike Road comes in at 10-2. Benjamin Russell also at 10-2. In the North, we mentioned this matchup. Gadsden City going to Birmingham to take on the Parker Thundering Herd. Parker tonight beat Oxford 21-14. Gadsden City, as we told you, that winner over Hartsel 22-15. Gadsden City now 9-3. Parker, the number 5 team in the state, at 11-1. And this was not a great game last year, but it could be this time. We're talking about Muscle Shoals and Clay Chalkville. Muscle Shoals pounded Fort Payne tonight 41-10 over at Muscle Shoals. Clay Chalkville had all they wanted tonight from Mountain Brook at home, but Clay Chalkville did win the game 17-13. Next week, it will be number 2 Clay Chalkville traveling to take on number 4 Muscle Shoals. Muscle Shoals 11-0. Clay Chalkville is now 12-0 in the 6A semifinals. And that's our Class 6A bracket in our Team 1 Chevrolet of Gadsden brackets. Now we have the 7A brackets, and this was actually the quarterfinals tonight. Next week will be their semifinals because there are less teams, only 16 teams that make the playoffs in Class 7A. Central of Phoenix City for the second time this year, routing Auburn. They beat them 41-10 the first time. They beat them tonight 49-21 at Garrett Harrelson Stadium down in Phoenix City tonight, and they'll get Mary Montgomery, having the greatest team in school history. Mary Montgomery, they're in Sims in Mobile County. Tonight they were at home. They beat Enterprise 13-10. So next week it will be Mary Montgomery, number 3, traveling to play at number 1 Central of Phoenix City. Mary Montgomery 12-0, Central of Phoenix City 11-0. And in the North, no surprise, it all comes down to Class 7A Region 3. Hewitt-Trussville for the second time this year routed Hoover. They beat them the first time 55-27. Tonight they beat them 40-7 out at Trussville. And 4-time defending state champion Thompson, they beat Vestavia Hills tonight in Alabaster 34-14. So next week it is a regular season rematch, and this will be Hewitt-Trussville going to take on Thompson. Hewitt-Trussville comes in at 9-3. Thompson comes into the game at 10-1, and that will be for basically these are the semifinals next week coming up. Central Phoenix City, the South Alabama Championship game against Mary Montgomery, and Hewitt-Trussville and Thompson playing in the North Alabama Championship game in Class 7A. Guys, that wraps up all of our brackets tonight, and we're set for the quarterfinals and the semifinals in 7A.
Don't know what to do with my hands now.
Look, there's been some good football, and there's even going to be better football next week.
We talk about rivers a lot. By the way, did you know the state of Alabama has more miles of rivers than any state in the United States? That's why we mention so many rivers.
That's right.
There you go.
More useless information from after the game. For all our outstanding, hard-working crew, we will be back with you next Friday night at 10 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube. For Coach Michael Short, Chad Barnett, our entire hard-working team, have a blessed weekend.